This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Believe You Me podcast. You will no doubt be noticing, if you're one of the hardcores that shows up in the premiere on the YouTube page, you're like, hold on, where the hell is the podcast? Well, today there was a press conference for the big pay-per-view this weekend, and we thought perhaps there would be some very, very funny moments to break down, to discuss some high tension, some drama, some zingers, some one-liners. But we were wrong, Lewis.
There's nothing. There's nothing. Nothing interesting, nothing notable. We pushed this podcast back hours and making it come out a full day late just because we didn't want to miss anything. And it was for absolutely no reason.
Studious. That's what we are. When it comes to podcasting, we're very studious, and we don't want to be outdated with what we're saying. So we thought we might have seen something. Listen, you know, there's two trains of thought. Some people might say the fights themselves sell themselves, and they do. Listen, they're tremendous fights this weekend, and some people like a bit of drama, and we thought maybe, I'll be honest, with Nunes and Megan Anderson, I didn't really expect much there. I thought Megan might, you know, get a little cocky. I thought we'd get a little bit from Aljo and Petr Yan, which we did, but I was really expecting Izzy to talk some shit, you know?
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll say this much. Watching the press conference, I did get more excited. It did its job, right? Because it sort of reminds you, it's like, oh shit, these are really big fights. They are great fights. Seeing everybody on stage at the same time, all three title holders and challengers facing off, it did sort of get you in the mood for the fights. So at the very, you know, they just had to tap it in. They didn't have to have any fireworks.
Tap it in.
Just tappy tap.
Little tappy. Little tip-tapperoony.
And that's all they do.
Home.
Yeah. They tapped it in, and I think it was fine.
Yeah, no. When I said I thought Izzy would talk shit, I didn't mean that he's like some disrespectful guy. What I mean is, you know, the guy's very, very confident. He's 20-0. So I thought we might get some shenanigans, and it's always fun.
Right.
Obviously, Jan Blachowicz is a very, very humble guy. So and it's not his first language either. And certainly for Petr Yan, it's definitely not his first language. He did most of his press conference through a translator, even though I think he has a pretty decent command of the English language. Just some people, when it's their second language, they even if they have a translator, they'll still prefer to use it. I know a jiu-jitsu coach of mine used to do that. I'm like, what are you doing? You can speak English. But, you know, they're on a big stage. They get a little intimidated. So, yeah, listen. The fights sell themselves, you know. Izzy is a spectacular fighter, and Jan Blachowicz is, you know, and Jan is more of a quiet, strong, stoic.
Ooh, personal drinks. You want me a Coke?
Fucking stoic Miocic. No, stoic Blachowicz. Yeah, no, he is, you know. I tell you what, when they squared up, the height difference wasn't as big as what I thought it was. It's only 2 inches, but still, when they squared up side by side, they looked pretty tall. Pretty even.
Who are you talking about?
Blachowicz and
Izzy. Izzy. Yeah, Izzy's so tall. Because we've been talking about the size advantage to Jan, but it's not really. I mean, it's definitely going to have a little bit of a weight advantage. He's definitely a bigger guy. He cuts down to 205, and Izzy is there a rumor that he's going to weigh like less than 200 pounds?
Yeah, that's what they always say. That's what I've heard many, many times. He doesn't cut weight realistically for 185. A few pounds isn't cutting weight per se. He apparently doesn't get much heavier than that. So
we'll see what happens.
I mean, we will.
Yeah, I mean, it did get me excited. Izzy there was interesting moments, you know, when he sort of admitted that he is looking past Jan, and then he had to stop himself and be like, not that I'm looking past Jan, and my eyes are right on Jan, but I'm taking a peek into the future.
Yeah.
So there was those moments. You can sort of tell he kind of is looking past him a little bit. We'll see if that's a mistake.
Well, listen, it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight for both of them. This is what I've said all along, you know. And a lot of people, whenever I don't jump on the bandwagon of Conor McGregor or Izzy or whatever, they always, he's jealous or whatever. So what are you talking about? My days are done. I root for them as a fan. What I recognize though is that this is a fucking awesome fight, a tremendous fight, and they're both champions in their own right. So therefore, I say it's a tough fight for both of them, because stylistically, Israel Adesanya has the range, he has the speed, and he has the skill. He has the skill in terms of striking, in terms of feints and movements and setting things up, and the variety of strikes as well. But Blachowicz has the perfect style to counter that. He's a forward pressure fighter. He's the bigger guy, not in height, but in terms of all over stature. He's a much bigger man. He's a thicker man. So he needs to go forward, close that distance, and take away the reach and the speed and all that type of thing from Adesanya. Well, if you do that and you get it in his face, that favors Jan big time. But if Izzy can keep him at bay with his kicks, with his jabs, with his speed, with footwork, there's a million different ways of doing it. But if you can do that, then it favors Izzy. So that's why it's a great fight on both sides, and I can't fucking wait for it.
I most of the time, 99% of the time, unless I have like an emotional connection with the fighter, I've been a fan of the fighter for a long time, I know him personally, they come on the show, most of the time I'm rooting for the underdog. It's just the classic Rocky story. Who's rooting for the guy that's got it all, you know? And this thing, I know that you know your career, you came up. I mean, you weren't necessarily an underdog, but you just had a really long, sort of hard road to that title. It wasn't easy. You had a couple tough losses that were super close, split decisions that fucking could have went either way. You know, I think you connect with a guy like Jan more than a guy like Izzy? Just because, I mean, dude, Izzy just seems to have all of God's gifts, all the natural talent in the world. Not that he's not a hard worker, not that anything was given to him, but, you know, John Jones and Israel Adesanya, Conor McGregor, it just seems like they had an easier path than somebody like yourself or Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah, but you can't hold that against them. You know, you're right. They did have an easier path. Of course they did. You know, Izzy came in, stayed undefeated, fucking became champion. Now he's fighting for 2 belts. That's without question. He fucking sailed through. It's like Dana opened the door, rolled out the red carpet, and all they had to do was walk down that carpet, and there was a belt. In fact, there's 2 belts at the end of the carpet. Yeah, no, he didn't lose an eye. He didn't lose his knees. He didn't get the shit kicked out of him and stuff like that for many, many years and turn it around at the end. So yeah, that's undebatable. But you have to admire what people like that, you know, there's a reason why they have it so easy. It's because they're fucking skilled. They're very good. You can't deny Adesanya's rise to power, if you will. I mean, if you look at the people that he's beaten, if you go to Fight Club on Instagram and check out on there, it's well documented all his opponents and how he won and things like that. Check that out, by the way, Fight Club. But, yeah, you can't hold that against him. Izzy did it. He did it in style. He did it fantastically, you know. Jan Blachowicz had a longer way round. He actually went through a phase, I think he'd only won, he lost 4 out of 5 at one point, you know, but he turned it around, you know, and as they always say, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, you know, and right now, he's the champion of the world, so, you know, it's going to be a good fight, it's going to be a good, fantastic fight.
Are you rooting for, who are you rooting for in this fight? Now, I'm not saying who you're picking, who are you rooting for?
No, I can pick actually as well. I know. Because I thought I was doing a thing for the UFC, so for ESPN this weekend, you know, doing the post-fight show and all that stuff. I'm not, because there was slight confusion. I just got booked for the pay-per-view in March. Turns out there's 2 pay-per-views in March, because the other day I didn't have any correspondence. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, no, you're on at the end of the month. I'm like, oh shit, okay, so I'm off the hook. So that's good. So I can pick.
Job saved.
So I'm like, whoa, God, thank God. No, we'll do the picks at the end, but right. It's a tremendous fight. It is, and I like Jan. I like Jan a lot, obviously. How can you not like him? The underdog, the guy that, you know, he see, I found this, and I'm not trying to be big-headed and talk about myself, but I can compare myself a little bit to Jan in terms of the way he got the belt. You know what I'm saying? And I found that I get a lot of respect from people, and a lot of people appreciate the hard way I got it, which is weird. It shouldn't be that way. If someone else comes out and just blitzes it and gets it easy because they're that good, they also deserve the same amount of credit, but in a very different way. But people do resonate with a guy that kept getting knocked down. Yeah,
it's a better, you know, that's it. Like the Michael Bisping story, you know, no offense to any of these guys, but it's a better movie than the Israel Adesanya movie, which is like,
I don't know. He's got a pretty good one coming from Nigeria, going to New Zealand, and then coming in and taking over. It's pretty fucking good. But still, yeah, the press conference, it wasn't a Conor McGregor press conference, dare I say, was it a George St. Pierre Michael Bisping press conference? But, you know,
nobody was intoxicated.
Nobody was intoxicated. My biggest takeaway was that Dana there's a potential for the next pay-per-view at the end of the month. So you never know. I might be going to Houston for it because, of course, Texas, as well as now 15 states, and we're not going to get into that, have rolled back the mask mandates. We're not going to get into that, right. Fucking nutters. But they've rolled that back. So straight away, Dana called and tried to get into, where was it, Dallas? They said no. But Houston apparently is on the card. So like, oh shit, that'd be huge. You know, pay-per-view at the end of the month in a crowd, sold out arena.
Sold out. Give me tickets. I'll come down, baby boy. Let's bring BYM to Houston.
No.
Come on.
Oh, you stay there. Satellite, baby, satellite.
No, let me tell you something. If they're in Houston at the end of the month, if that happens, I will 100% be going. I'll buy a ticket. I don't need you, Bisping. I'll buy my own fucking ticket.
I was gonna say you'll be there by yourself. I think I'll still be from home. I'll still be working here from home. I think. I hope so.
Oh wait, they wouldn't. I thought you were commentating the pay-per-view.
No, I'm not commentating. I'm doing the pre and post fight show. Often when you do the pre and post fight, just lately they're doing it from home. With ESPN, you do it from home. And don't get me wrong, I love a sold out crowd. I love the energy. I love the atmosphere. But I also prefer sitting on my ass and not getting on a plane and trudging to an airport like a piece of cattle. Checking into a shitty hotel room, looking for coffee in the morning, using powdered fucking creamer. No, when I want creamer, I want to do it from waking up from my slumber saying, Rebecca, make me a brew. And then she brings it just the way I like it and hands me the remote control. That's the way I like to wake up. So shove your fucking Houston up your ass, baby boy.
If it happens, I'll go down there. I'll do another comedy show. My last trip to Texas was ruined by snow, which is fucking bizarre. So, and that they're talking about doing Ngannou versus Stipe, right?
I'm not sure what it is, UFC 260. I don't know. Harrington, maybe he knows. He's a nerd. I should know, but I focus on one fight at a time. Harrington, well, what is the next pay-per-view?
Very hurtful. Yes, it is. It's Ngannou versus Stipe too. There's also the featherweight weight championship fighter on there.
Featherweight. And what's the featherweight there, buddy boy? What's the
How are the featherweights having the featherweights?
So tell me about the featherweights.
It's Volkanovski versus Ortega.
That's it. Oh, so that's good. That's a stacked pay-per-view. My God. Ngannou versus Miocic in a sold-out crowd with Ortega versus Volkanovski. That'd be good. That'd be good. Sign me up. You know, in England, things are going to be back to normal soon. There's like fucking vaccinations galore. I'm not getting into that side of things. I'm just saying how excited I am that things are slow. We're seeing light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean?
Finally. So this is why. And when I clap. Sorry.
Go on. No, go on.
Well, I was going to say, when I clap about the mask mandate being gone in these states, the only reason I clap is not because I don't think people should wear masks. I still wear a mask. I'm saying it's the writing is on the wall that things are back to normal. These are the big first steps when, you know, they're speaking to doctors, they're speaking to different politicians, they have different angles on all this, and you know, the reality is society is coming back to normal. New York City is opening up live comedy shows at 33% capacity, which is it's the first time in a year that we could do live comedy in New York.
I mean, that's an increase. Used to be 25, now it's 30.
No, there was zero. It was zero.
That's a hell of a jump.
There was no comedy clubs at all. A bunch of comedy clubs were going to sue Andrew Cuomo because they were letting restaurants open, they were letting all these different things open, but specifically not comedy clubs, live performance venues, music venues. It was very bizarre.
Yeah, the whole thing with the businesses being shut down, the small businesses especially, is absolute fucking nonsense. But anyway, no, in the UK, 90% of over 65s have had the vaccination, and 23 million people, I think, have been vaccinated in the UK. Obviously, we've only got a population of 60 million. So at this rate, what they're saying, I think it's June 12th or June 21st, everything's back to normal. DJ Mikey B's out of fucking retirement, baby boy. I'm taking bookings all over the place. I'm fucking going on a DJ tour spectacular.
Are you really going on a DJ tour?
No, I am. Seriously, I'm going to Leeds, I'm going to Magaluf, I'm going to Ibiza, I'm going to Amsterdam, Spain. I'm all over the place. DJ Mikey B. Some fucking decent cash to be earned, baby. So I'm like, who am I not to take it? Why do you think I'm brushing up my DJ skills and stuff like that all the time?
I have no idea what's going on, but I would love to go to a DJ Mikey B set in Amsterdam. Let's make it happen. Brian said bring me to Ibiza.
Yeah. Funny enough, you want to go to the one in Amsterdam.
I'll go to Amsterdam. You go to Ibiza all day, Brian.
Yeah. No, you come on to Ibiza, Brian. You can podcast the whole thing for us. So yeah. Anyway, hopefully light at the end of the tunnel. What's going on in your world, Lewis? Before we get into all these notes, I see a nice little black eye you got there, buddy. Getting your ass kicked off fat, out of shape comedians again?
No, not comedians. It's fucking. I went back to Mickey Gall's gym to the real fighter sparring, and I got humbled very, very quickly.
That'll happen. Imagine what Callum would do to you. Fucking hell, bro.
I'm ready, dude. Tell Callum I'm fucking ready. Anytime.
He's here.
I know he's here.
He's here.
Let me tell you something.
Do you know what he said?
What he said?
You know what he said? Callum! Callum! Forget what he called you. Callum!
I would light Callum the fuck up. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of the
he follows you on Instagram, and then there's some sparring footage. I forget what he called it. He said he looks like a something. I forget what it was. That's why I'm calling him to ask.
Let him talk all this shit.
Callum, what did he say he was? What did you say, Callum? What did he say he was? When you saw the sparring footage of Lewis, after he said that he said you look like a shuffling zombie.
A shuffling zombie? A shuffling zombie that'll fucking whoop your ass, Callum. Let's go.
A shuffling zombie. And I was like, that's a pretty good assessment. You're right, he does. Anyway, but still, let's not get into that. Let's keep it nice and cheery and upbeat and happy places.
I'm happy. And also, I don't have any ill will toward Callum. I think it's going to look great when I fucking put a Bisping under my belt. That sounded very weird. Whoa.
No. Trust me, buddy. Ain't gonna happen. But still, it's fine. It's okay. Delusion is grand. Okay, support for the Believe You Me podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, and they obsess over the technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Listen, you know the drill. You're trying to shave your balls, trying to groom your intimate private areas, and more often than not you will nick yourself with whatever device you are using. I mean, generally if it's a like a beard trimmer or whatever, you gotta nick yourself. Simple as that. With the Manscaped technology, that is a thing of the past, Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've all done it. We've used the Bic, we've used our girlfriends.
Never used the Bic.
You've never used the Bic?
Never used the Bic. Always been like fortunate enough to afford a $7.99 trimmer from CVS.
See, no, I've got in my past, I've said, you know what, I want it to the skin. I want to look like a baby's bottom. And that was a mistake for many reasons. But the biggest reason of all is because I have nicked myself, I've cut myself. Everyone has experienced this. It is awful. It makes you afraid to do it. It also makes you have to take so much more time doing it. Before I had Manscaped, it would take me 30 minutes to go in with hair trimmers and make sure that I didn't hurt anything. Manscaped, 2 minutes, I'm in and out.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because you're late, I'm late, we're always, we're busy men, we're successful gurus. Nobody's factoring in the time it takes to shave your balls for the day. Do you know what I'm saying? With the Manscaped, you don't need to do that. You just go haphazard, go crazy, just fucking like a maniac. Like you've had 5 bottles of whiskey behind the car of a wheel, steaming to fucking from jiu-jitsu to a podcast if you're late. That's how you can do your fucking balls. If you want to do it, that's how you can do it. And you will never, there won't even be a drop of blood. There won't be no discomfort, there'll be nothing. And guess what? You can do it in the dark. You can do it in the pool. You can do it for a long time, because
don't do it in the pool. I think you need to tell people to not do it in the pool.
Well, it says it's waterproof, okay? I'm just saying, shave your balls in the pool. It'll change your fucking mind.
Look, right now, we're going to give you a pretty amazing
Blow your mind. Pardon me.
It's going to blow your mind. Listen. It's going to blow your mind. You're probably going to get a blow job. You're going to blow everyone away. It's the greatest thing in the world. Go to manscaped.com. That's manscaped.com and use the promo code BISPING20 at checkout. You're going to save 20% off your Manscaped personal grooming system. Plus, you get free shipping. 20% off manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. Okay, where were we?
I say we just get into these fights and then we'll do the news afterwards, because obviously Saturday is a massive pay-per-view. Everyone, if you're listening to this podcast, you're an MMA fan and you want to hear about the fights this weekend. It's top of the card. Alexander Rakic is fighting Thiago Santos. I think that's the opening fight on the main card. In fact, we'll start before that on Dominic Cruz versus Casey Kent.
Okay.
Did you see Hamilton? Have we got this? I should have said this before. There was a video earlier. Dominic Cruz today was talking about, what was he talking about? He was talking about, did you see it, Hamilton?
Are you talking about not wanting Keith Peterson to ref his fight?
Well, there's that as well. So what did he say about Keith Peterson? We'll go with that. That's not what I was talking about, but that'll do. You saved me there.
I might have a thing for your other thing for Cruz, but he was saying, I believe this was yesterday, he said that he had reached out to the Nevada State Athletic Commission asking them not to make Keith Peterson the referee for his fight. If you remember, during the Cejudo fight, he had made claims Peterson smelled like alcohol and cigarettes. He said that Peterson was having a hard time explaining the rules to him in the back, and that there was certain cognition issues there. So he didn't feel very safe getting into the cage with Peterson calling the action. He said that Nevada State typically waits until the day of to make the assignments, but he did put in an official request that not be the referee for his fight.
I mean, I don't want to talk shit about Cruz. I've worked with him. I like the guy. He's a very successful fighter, and he's tremendous at what he does, and he's a smart guy. He knows the fight game. But just let it go. Just, you know what I mean? I understand he's doubling down on his opinion and what he thought on the night. And listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion, you know? But it's just let it go. I mean, listen, yeah, it's your prerogative, it's your right to say, I don't want that guy referee. You can't actually... Did we have this conversation last week? We didn't? All right, good.
We did speak on it.
No,
but...
yeah, but I don't think we went into this. But anyway, you can ask. So you can say, I don't want him refereeing because you might have a personal issue with somebody. Let's say you're walking through the MGM Grand Casino and the fights are on there, if it was fucking 5 years ago or whatever. You're walking through the MGM Grand and it's a Tuesday night, you see the referees, had a few drinks, you get into an altercation, you have an argument. Well, of course, you don't want that guy refereeing your fight because now you've had an argument, there's personal history there, and who knows, maybe he makes a call just to be a dickhead, just to mess with you, you know? So I understand that.
Even just forget that. I mean, the fact that Cruz, even if Cruz doesn't really believe that he was drunk and he was making excuses, right? Now, at this point, Cruz has sort of poisoned the well. So if I'm Keith Peterson, I'm like, fuck Dominic Cruz. If I'm refereeing his fight, I'm definitely being more critical because he was sort of a piece of shit to me after that last fight.
Well, I don't think it was Keith Peterson. But somebody today on Twitter, there was a Dominic Cruz has requested that Keith Peterson doesn't referee his fight. And then there's a fake Keith Peterson Twitter account that came back and said, don't worry, I don't referee prelim fights.
Wow.
Which is pretty funny. Come on, now I know it's a parody account, but still, it made me laugh. Listen, Cruz has got a tough fight on his hand there. Casey Kenny. I can't say I know Casey Kenny like the back of my hand, but I do know he's got a great record. He's 17-2. He's beaten some good guys. He's a high-level judo guy. Like multiple time, represented America at high-level international judo multiple times. Okay, judo isn't something that necessarily crosses over too well, but what it does do is give you strong hips and a strong lower back, so that's important. Also, he was multiple time state champion wrestler. That is beneficial in mixed martial arts, and you know, he's dealt with people like Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood is a young fighter out of England, very fast, very good, good striking, a polished guy. I actually thought he'd be a champion, and Casey Kenny was able to beat him. And I think having to just confirm, Cruz is coming into this one as an underdog, which I gotta say, that does surprise me. It does surprise me if you look at the body of work that Dominic Cruz has had. However, he's lost his last two now. Lost to Cejudo 4 years ago. Lost to Cody Garbrandt. Got a decision there, but it was clear. But you just, when you say he's lost his last two, I mean, they were 4 years apart. You know, the guy just hasn't been very active. The one thing that does trouble me for Dominic, though, is that he's getting older. I think he's 35 or 36 now. At those lightweight classes, you know, bantamweight classes, should I say. It relies on speed. I don't know how well Casey Kenny is, but I'm going to go out on a limb, Lewis, and assume that he's very much younger.
Yeah, I'm looking. He's 29 years old. Actually celebrating a birthday in a couple weeks as well. Yeah, he's got mainly wins by decision and submission, a couple knockouts. I mean, yeah, look, it's like a changing of the guard fight, you know, and we'll see. I mean, this fight is an opportunity to showcase Casey Kenny. If he beats Dominic Cruz, he's a guy that everybody's talking about. But Dominic Cruz has to sort of prove that he can hang with this younger, new breed of fighters, right? So it's actually, when you really think of it that way, it's actually a great matchup.
Oh, it's a fantastic matchup. It's a great matchup. And I respect Dominic for taking it, but Dominic is under pressure in this fight, right? Because if he is the Dominic Cruz, if he is the dominator, right, that he was known and loved for being, if he is truly one of the pound-for-pound best or one of the best in the weight class, with respect to Casey Kenny, who is a great fighter, doesn't have that name recognition, the fan recognition that just instantly rolls off your tongue. He's not at the forefront of everybody's minds when you're thinking UFC, right? So therefore, Dominic, that puts Dominic in a tough place. He's going to go out there and dominate this guy. He's going to beat him. He's going to hopefully get a finish and say to the world, hey, look, motherfuckers, I told you, Henry Cejudo did not beat me. Keith Peterson fucked up, and that's a reminder there. That's how good I am. That guy's good. He's got a great record. I just smoked him. But if he doesn't, even if he loses a close decision, you know, the narrative won't be, well, he lost a close decision, and that kid is good. It'll be, wow, he lost to someone on the prelims. You know what I mean?
Even if
and
he
that's
wins a
just the
close
reality
decision.
of how brutal the sport can be.
Even if he wins a close decision, I feel like that's sort of the narrative, right? I think he does need to kind of come out and smoke Casey Kenny. If he wants to be the Dominic Cruz, the legend, the guy who's coming out for another run at the title, yeah, he's got to come out and smoke Casey Kenny. Nobody was talking about Casey Kenny being next in line for a title shot, right? So this is sort of like, I don't know, it's sort of a test as well to see if he can actually be dominating. And I think he does need to do that in order to sort of, you know, make a real statement on Saturday night.
Yeah, sorry, I was just laughing because he had that whole thing, didn't he, with Megan Anderson recently. You know, I was just like, I wonder if there's going to be any interactions. I wonder if they see each other fight week, because it's not like, as I said before, in usual times when Vegas is popping. You know, the strip is packed. There's UFC fans everywhere. Fighters can't walk through the casino without getting mobbed and hassled. Right now, they're just in the old Residence Inn off Dean Martin Drive. It's not a big fucking hotel. Do you know what I mean? They've got a gym with 2 treadmills. You know what I mean? And like a very, very amateur weight setup. Although if you know what you're doing like me, you can still get a solid workout in Lewis. But still, the point remains, there's a possibility that they bumped into one another. And I'm sure Megan, you know, doesn't hold any ill will. But I would have liked to have been there.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, probably. You have to assume. I'm also assuming that UFC staffers would set things up to where they weren't crossing paths too often because they had that weird thing. But I mean, look, it's just not that big of a deal. That got blown up a little bit bigger than it needed to be. He made a dumb comment about a
He was
coworker.
joking with the boys as well, just like we do on here. Like, right, me and you, we're joking, we're being silly. Harrington comes on, he says something moronic, therefore it lowers our IQ a little bit. You know, then Brian comes on and it raises it a little bit, then Harrington comes back on and we go even stupider. And then he says something dumb, you know. But to your point, as you said, the UFC, they are very proactive in terms of if anyone has a beef or anything like that. Not that they have a beef, they don't. But they're pretty good at keeping people away. Like if I was fighting somebody and I had an issue with them, or maybe just someone on the fight card that was a well-known issue, they'll make sure to put us at the opposite ends of the hotel or on separate floors or whatever. You know what I mean? Just to make sure we don't bump into each other. Of course, it's not foolproof. It does happen on occasion.
Side note, what the fuck happened with your little bromance with Luke Rockhold this week?
Oh, shit.
What the hell was that? I've been trashing Luke Rockhold. I don't even know this guy. The amount of bad shit I've said about this guy. Now you're just buddy with him. You're playing with his dog. You're hugging him. You're kissing him on the neck.
What do you want me to do, Lewis? Do you know what I mean? It's like I ship a sell, bud. I'm retired. I don't hold any animosity, any ill will. I don't harbor ill feelings about the guy. No, listen, I half expected Luke to be there. You know, I went into the gym and there he was. I was like, oh, here we go. And anyway, you know, what do? You laugh about it. You can be awkward about it, and anyone listening, if you kind of got like a weird tension with somebody, you can either be weird about it or you can laugh about it. And if you laugh about it, most of the time the other person will reciprocate it, and then it's done. You forget about it. And I saw him there and I walked over, and then, you know, we exchanged a little hug, whatever. How you doing? Perillo actually got that on his camera.
I was watching Perillo's story as well. I was going back and forth between your story and Perillo's story to get the whole picture.
But then I saw some little dog running around the fucking place, and I'm just saying, Luke, no offense, like, you don't bring a dog into a sterile area. They're filthy animals. I'm just saying. Certainly not the Ruka gym. It's beautiful white. All right, if that dog takes a shit or a piss, you're going to see it.
So you're not saying you have any problems with Luke Rockhold anymore, but you're just saying he sort of broke some unspoken
I'm
gym
just saying
rules.
I don't have a problem with that fucking dog. Okay, we got a real issue. Nah. So I saw this dog, and then I figured out it was Luke, so I was just joking and see if his dog. He was great. He had a good sense of humor about it all. It was fine. It was done, and that's that. You know.
Was that the most friendly you guys have been to each other since the fight? And because it's been a sort of some public spats, some little nasty comments made here and there, but I don't know. I don't know how often you guys interact.
No, not too often, but obviously DC, I'm friends with DC, and obviously Luke and DC are close. So I remember once last year, Raleigh, North Carolina, we were commentating there, me and DC, and he called me up. He said, oh, I've got a sponsor in town. He's a holy guy. He's taking us out, Mike. We're going to have the best time. We're going to have a great time. We're going to take to the best restaurants, tables after, everything. You know, you got to come. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good, because I know what I'm like. I'm a fucking psycho. Don't put me in that environment. You know what I mean? I will not be turning up for commentary on Saturday. I'll be in the B floor in Amsterdam going fucking psycho. I'm like, no, I'm good. And then later on he FaceTimed me. He was with Rockhold.
Oh,
You
no.
fucking asshole. That would have been the most awkward evening ever for him and for me. Or we would have just laughed about it like grown men.
Or you guys might end up being best friends. That's what happened. You and George Masvidal is you guys ended up sharing a car together. Then all of a sudden you guys are buddy.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you got to be. That's how you got to be. But, you know, it's funny. That went viral. That went bloody everywhere. Everyone reposted it. So, but yeah, fair play. All the best, Luke. Hopefully we'll see him fighting again. I don't know. Who knows? First fight on the main card. Well, Askar Askarov actually on the undercard, taking on Joseph Benavidez. Not going to break that down. I know Askar Askarov is a tremendous grappler. Benavidez, one of the best guys not to win a world title, and I would be remiss if we didn't give him a little shout out. So wishing you all the best, Joseph Benavidez. It's a tricky fight, that one, and certainly for Benavidez, coming off 2 stoppages back-to-back off Deiveson Figueiredo. You know, it's a tough fight. There's one that he can win. It really is. He's just getting on a bit, you know. But as I say, one of the best fighters never to win a UFC belt.
And we're also learning that Figueiredo is just an absolute animal. You know, it's so losing to him. It's, you know, there's really no shame in that at all. So
yeah. As you say, it's almost like, you know, that's almost like I don't know, something you say to, like, what do you call it, like a consolation comment? Oh, but he's an animal. But it's true. Honestly, I know Brandon Moreno went to a draw, but that was because Deiveson got a point taken off. But I don't see anybody taking that belt off Deiveson Figueiredo anytime soon. Anyway, main card, Alexander Rakic, Thiago Santos. Fuck me. What a fight. That's an insane fight, because Alexander Rakic, by the way, spoke to me last week. If he wins, well, he said he'll come on the podcast after the fight. I'm assuming that's if he wins. I'm assuming if Thiago Santos has his way and adds another knockout to his resume, and Rakic goes back to fucking Sweden or Amsterdam or wherever the hell he's from, broken, bloody, battered, bruised. I doubt he's jumping on and shooting the shit with us on Monday. Yeah, Serbia. Thank you, Harrington.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, did you ever do an interview after a loss with any sort of publication?
I think I did, but this was obviously before podcasting. You know what I mean? Doing an interview is one thing. You know, like back in the day, they'd come up with the little what do you call them? The little dictaphone. The little recording devices.
And like an MP3 recorder?
Yeah, but yeah, they're called dictaphones or something. But whatever. I did back in the day. They'd hold that. Oh, so Michael, just ask you a few questions about the fight. How did you feel in there? You know, but now with podcasting, now if you're doing an interview these days, it's all on video for the most part. You know what I mean?
And it's also long form. Like back in the day, you do like a media scrum, you do like little 4 or 5 minute interviews, you get little clips here and there.
Yeah.
It was very like specific. It was very controlled. Now you come on a podcast.
Now you're going to go on and people are going to look at you and you see black eye. I mean, I wouldn't be seen dead on a podcast with a black eye, because it just says to the world what an absolute little pussy you are. That another human being can go out there and do that to you.
I look like a fucking badass. The chicks love it. My chick was like, oh my God, I love him with a black guy. It's the best. Right.
Okay.
It's true.
But yeah, no, but still, no, I'm sure it is. I'm sure. I don't think you're lying to me. I mean,
you look like a fucking, like you've been through war. That's why women are attracted to you. Do you think
I look sexy as fuck. Look at that fucking. The scab is slowly going.
I'm telling you right now, women like scars. They like fucking the big ugly cauliflower ears. They love all that shit.
Do you really feel that you have to tell me this? At 42 years old and living and looking like this my entire life. That's why I was like, I'm not disagreeing with you, Lewis. I'm well aware of this phenomenon. No, Rakic. Who's the favourite in that, Harrington? Let's have a look. Did he put it in the notes? I'm not sure. But still, it's a good bloody fight. Who's the favourite on that, Harrington?
Pulling up right now.
Rakic and Santos.
Santos is Santos plus 120, Rakic minus 150 favorite.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought, to be honest. I thought Rakic is, got a lot of momentum right now. That big win over Anthony Smith. Santos is dangerous, though. Obviously, he's coming back after. Last time we saw him was against John Jones, where he blew out all his knee. And
oh, that was the last time he fought?
I believe so, yeah. So he's coming back, obviously. His knee will be fine. And mentally, there's nothing to overcome. But he's had a little bit of a break. You know, it's been. Well, when was that? I think it was the start of last year, right?
He fought. Oh, he lost to Glover.
Glover. Okay, all right. Still, whatever. But yeah, good fight, fantastic fight for the main card. Alexander Rakic. I'm going to go out on a limb and say right now, I think Rakic gets it done. I think he's got more ways to get it done. I think he's got a tremendous chin. He hits very fucking hard as well. But he's more well-rounded. Santos is just, I mean, if Santos connects with you, you're going to go to sleep, or you're going to go down. He hits incredibly hard. But I just feel like Rakic has less miles on the clock, and I feel he has more ways to win. He's probably a bigger guy. In fact, he will be a bigger guy. He's massive.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming in with a lot of momentum, super powerful, and it's almost like another changing of the guard sort of fight, right? I mean, Santos has been around for so long. How long has he been fighting in the UFC?
I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm not sure if I'd put him in that. I wouldn't say changing up the guard. He has been there for a long time, though. He's definitely a mainstay. He's been with the UFC for a long time. But he's not like, a Shogun or a Rashad or a DC. In fact,
those were 2 guards ago.
yeah. Multiple guards, passing guards all over the place. Big news yesterday or today, I think it was, Overeem and Junior Dos Santos.
I know.
Go by the promotion. Yeah, there's a real changing of the guard, and it's a shame, but
it's crazy. It's almost crazy. Only because I'll say the UFC's heavyweight division. I know the last episode we went on a whole tirade about all the new young talent that's coming up in the heavyweight division, but I still feel like it is sort of one of their thinnest divisions in terms of stars, in terms of contenders. I just feel like Alistair Overeem, Junior Dos Santos, those are always 2 guys that are bringing crazy exciting fights. They're never in a boring fight. They're absolute stars. They're legends in their own right. I'm just very surprised that the UFC let them go, only because they're heavyweights. I know that they're both on skids right now, but in the heavyweight division, I feel like they could use more star power.
Agreed. I agree with what you're saying, and they do have a crop of young, up-and-coming talent. Like we said, the Dorcas, the Aspinalls, Tanner Bowes. There's a lot of good talent coming up. But the reality is, though, he has been stopped 4 times in a row now. His last 4 fights, he's been knocked out. So, and guys like Junior Dos Santos and certainly Alistair Overeem, they command a hefty price tag. I know a long time ago, Alistair Overeem was getting paid $800,000 a fight. I don't have his record in front of me. I saw Junior's. He's lost 4 in a row, 4 stoppages. Wow. And I don't think that Overeem's probably not far behind it. When you're paying through the nose, when you're paying a high premium like that for a guy like that, and they can't get the job done and they can't win fights, and you got to pay them, a massive amount of money, it's business, unfortunately. And I think also maybe, as you just mentioned, the changing of the guard, that is happening. All these classic guys that we know and we love that built the sport of mixed martial arts, they're all going to be gone soon. Anderson's gone, Daniel Cormier's gone. There's a few of those old school guys still around, like a Shogun Rua. But again, he's not going to be around for much longer. You know what I'm saying? The Nogueira brothers are gone. Who else? I mean, you fucking name it. All the old school guys.
Yeah.
They're they can't stick around forever. And I think the UFC, rather than just putting them in another fight where they're going to pay through the fucking nose, where they've been knocked out 4 times in a row, therefore their drawing power is still diminished. You know what I mean? So therefore they might not get the return. It sounds harsh. It does. And I'm a fan of Junior. Junior was always one of my favorite fighters. Massive fan of Alistair Overeem. I would love to see them fight again. I wish they still had the jobs. I'm just saying I kind of get it a little bit.
Did they ever fight each other?
No, I'm not sure, but I was shocked. I'll be honest, though, I was still shocked.
Yeah, just when I heard it was at once, both at once, it was like, whoa. But then you sort of look at the 4 in a row for Junior. That sort of makes sense. We'll see what's going to happen. I mean, I obviously Bellator's out there. Bare Knuckle FC, I'm sure, is going to make a play for both of those guys because they're big, huge UFC heavyweights and they got deep pockets right now. So we'll see what happens.
I doubt Overeem would go do that. Maybe Junior, but Overeem shouldn't do that. I don't think Dos Santos should do it either. But still, listen, at the end of the day, you got to earn money. And if that's what you do, and that's your trade, and that's what you're built for, and that's what you've done your entire fucking life, and you've got nothing else, then yeah, you're right. Maybe we will see them in a Bellator or a bare knuckle or whatever.
I mean, how many times have you bare knuckle fought in a bathroom somewhere for free? Yeah, just do it for $1 million.
I'd fucking do it in $1 million, right? Fucking no. Okay, so Thiago Santos. I'm looking through these notes. Fuck that. Let's just get into these 3 title fights. Let's start with who was it? Who was the first one? Aljo versus Piotr Jan. I don't want to say striker versus grappler because it's not that simple, but it kind of is in some ways in terms of how they're going to win. If Aljamain Sterling's going to win this fight, he's going to out-wrestle him, he's going to get him to the floor, and he's going to try and look for a submission or control time. If Petr Yan's going to win, he's going to do it by maintaining separation and using his striking. Petr Yan's competent on the floor, you know what I mean? Everyone is at that level of the game, you know. You're stupid if you don't dedicate a certain percentage of your training each week to grappling and jiu-jitsu and wrestling, but he likes to strike. Aljamain, same thing. Aljamain's a good striker. He's got an excellent jab. He's got very, very long reach. But yeah, it's kind of, if there's a way they're going to win, it's striker versus grappler. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say Aljamain. I'm going to say Aljamain Sterling gets it done. Maybe that's just a little bit of bias because I like Aljamain and I know him. You know what I mean? It's weird. Whenever you get in those situations where you know somebody, if there's two people that are totally impartial, just whatever, maybe you make the right decision, maybe you make the wrong decision. But when you know somebody and they're cool, I'm sure Petr Yan's very, very cool. I just don't know him. I've never sat on a plane with Petr Yan and shot the shit. I've never sat on a plane with Petr Yan and fucking discussed our hangovers and fucking what we did last night. I've never, I haven't had Petr Yan on the podcast. We had Aljamain, So I know Aljamain. So I think maybe that's skewing it a little bit, but it's a great fight. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, Aljamain is super athletic. Probably one of the most athletic UFC fighters out there. He's so fast. And, yeah, I mean, look, I like Aljamain a lot. I really do. I think he's had a few opportunities now where he's lost some big fights. And, you know, Petr Yan, what's Petr Yan's record?
Good.
It's good. He's the champion.
It's a good one. I think he only lost once on the regional scene prior to getting to the UFC. He's bringing up Aljamain's record. Just gives you an idea. Whoa, he's in a 5-fight win streak against Sandhagen. That was his biggest win so far. Then he beat Pedro Munoz. Look how sensational Munoz looked at the weekend against Jimmy Rivera.
And Jimmy Rivera.
Then he beat Jimmy Rivera. Then he beat Cody Stamann. Again, not an easy fucking win. Cody Stamann is very, very tough. And Brett Johns. Brett Johns is really tough. Of course, he got caught by that left high kick, or it was a knee actually, of Marlon Moraes, but he was throwing a kick. And then from there, 5 good wins against solid competition.
Yeah, I mean, look, Piotr looks really good, really powerful. You know, it's funny, it's flipped for me because when it was a really close fight and I couldn't really decide, I would typically favor the grappler over the striker. And in recent years, I feel like that has switched. So when there's a really close fight, I always sort of favor the striker now.
I know what you're saying. I can understand that because these days people are learning to stop takedowns. They're learning to nullify all that stuff, to nullify the submission game and get back to the feet. You know,
striking's at a higher level these days. Like just such a, everyone
definitely
boxes really well.
Oh, definitely a higher level. I mean, if you go back to bloody UFC 32, you know what I mean? You see the striking on people. Or certainly in the early days, it was laughable. It was terrible. You know, and there was definitely some good kickboxers, some good karate guys. There were some guys with decent boxing and whatnot. But yeah, the overall level of the striking game was evolved and improved massively. Petr Yan 15-1. That one lost years ago, back in 2016, not that long ago, on ACB 32, the Battle of the Lions.
Ooh, Battle of the Lions. I love that event.
And that was against Magomed Magomedov.
Was it a lion?
No, he wasn't, but he's a cousin of Askar Askarov that's fighting this weekend.
Okay.
Do you know what it is?
It's a weird name for an event.
Askar, if my last name is Askarov, and my parents call me Askar, when I grow up, I'm having a serious conversation with them.
Bisping.
That's what I mean. It's like, Go Gomez.
Go Gomez.
Go Gomez. Let's go. Anyway, what do you think? I got Aljamain.
I like that. Look, I like Aljamain. We've had him on the show. You know, he's an East Coast guy as well, which I have a real affinity towards East Coast guys. So I guess I will pick Aljamain, but I think Petr Yan might have it. I really do. There was one nice little cringy moment in the press conference, if you don't remember, where they were going through the translator, and it was just so weird. And I guess Aljamain said something like, "Have you ever caught a mouse?"
Yeah.
And then Piotr said, "I've caught many mouse." And then, Yeah, and then Aljo's like, well, I'm not a mouse. It's like, what was this?
Yeah, no, it was terrible. It was terrible. I get it. They were trying to have like some big moments at the press conference, and fair play, they were the only ones.
They were trying.
They were trying. They tried. But one guy doesn't speak fucking English or not very good, and Aljamain, I don't know. But something about a mouse, do better. Listen, I hope your performance is better than the performance of the press conference. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
It was fucking cringy.
Yeah, but I'm not a mouse, bro. Okay, granted. I see.
Why would you bring up the mouse then?
Anyway, but yeah, no. I really thought we were going to see a good, funny press conference. I just think I was looking at it, you know what I mean? Wishful thinking, I think. Anyway, Megan Anderson, Amanda Nunes. What do you think of Megan Anderson's outfit at the press conference?
I didn't notice it. What was she wearing? What was the
Like a
outfit?
short skirt with like tattoos and then thigh boots on. She looked like she was off to the club for the weekend. I was like, whoa.
Well, I don't want to get her pissed off. I don't want to piss off the female MMA community, but you know.
Be careful. Be careful what you say. I'm just saying she looks good. She was very juicy, dressed up very nicely.
I think she's hot. We're the opposite. Like fucking what's his name? Casey Kenny. Yeah, fucking get the shit out of your eyes, bro. Megan Anderson's smoke show. She's like 7 feet tall, got those long legs.
On the flip side, Amanda Nunes had a very different style and approach. I thought her outfit looked cool as fuck. You know, do you see what she's wearing? That like cool silk shirt, and then it's like the sweatband. I don't know. Amanda Nunes is cool. She's very, very cool. She's very confident, of course, bit of a champ. But whenever you meet her, she's got great energy. As does Megan as well. I've sat down and had breakfast with Megan and her whole team. You know, obviously managed by Paradigm Sports Management. So yeah, two great girls. But I got to be honest. I really. I don't see a way that Megan can win this fight unless and then this sounds bad to say this. Because, of course, you know, she's a good fighter. She's big. She's a true featherweight. She can cage. She can do grappling. She can do jiu-jitsu. She trains with James Krause. James Krause is an excellent trainer, one of the best minds in the sport, apparently, these days. And he's churning out a lot of successful fighters. So that's good. That's good for her. But the only way that I see Amanda Nunes beating her is because Amanda Nunes just recently became a parent for the first time. You know what I mean? Her partner, I think it was Raquel Pennington, or is it Nina Ansaroff? Sorry.
Ansaroff.
Yeah, Ansaroff. Sounded bad there. But yeah, Nina Ansaroff just gave birth. However they did it, I'm not sure. But the reality is she just became a parent. Maybe that could be a distraction. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way that I see Megan winning this fight. If Amanda Nunes is underestimating Megan Anderson, thought, listen, I'm the double champ, I smoke everybody, I knocked out Holly Holm with a head kick, look what I did to Chris Cyborg, I've got this in the fucking bag, and she's been running around, she's been changing diapers, she's been walking to the park and doing all that shit, as opposed to training. And then on the flip side, Megan Anderson's fucking training Rocky 3 hardcore, going fucking sick, man, right? That's the only way I see her winning this fight.
I couldn't imagine a baby being anything but an extreme motivation for success. And you know this, you know, we both have kids, you know.
You'd be surprised.
People said that to me when I first had my son, or when my chick was pregnant at the time. I remember Ari Shaffir, he was like, dude, he was like, you're going to quit comedy. He was like, I've seen it happen before. You know, people have a kid, then they want to get a day job, they want to make sure that everything's safe. And I guess some people look at it that way. But I doubled down on everything. It was all foot on the gas, pedal to the metal. I knew that I had to succeed. And it's not like, you know, please.
Devil's advocate.
Devil's advocate.
Amanda Nunes is already incredibly successful. She's a double champ of the world. She's defended the belt quite a number of times in 2 weight classes. And no doubt sitting on a good little stack of multi-millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? And she lives in Florida. You know what I mean? No state taxes, and cost of living is much cheaper. And she's a fucking...
The people are very stupid there.
The people are very stupid by all accounts. I don't know. That's what they say. That is the reputation.
She might have just become a Floridian. Her brain might be in the mud.
She is already set. She's made. You know what I mean?
Right.
So therefore, that's what I'm saying. That's where the resting of the laurels can come in, because it is, and it can be a dangerous thing. I don't think she will. But remember, Amanda, and again, by the way, I'm not saying this is what she's going to do. I'm saying this is the only way that I really see Megan Anderson winning this fight. Now, of course, that sounds disrespectful to Megan, and I don't intend it to be. She's a great fighter. She's worked very hard, and she deserves to be in the spot that she's in. Okay, that's just throwing that out there. But I still think that Nunes is going to be Well, she's a heavy favourite, and rightly so. But the point I was going to make, back in the day, Amanda Nunes, she did used to lose some fights. You know, she lost quite a few fights. And the way that would happen is that she would go out there, she would dominate a lot of fights, and then run out of gas, like against Kat Zingano. Classic example. I think in the first round, she fucking almost killed Kat Zingano. But Kat weathered the storm. Nunes got tired. And then I think she got the finish in round 2 or 3. And that was always the thing with Nunes, always such a strong starter. But then, obviously, as she neared the championship era of her career, she figured that out. She made the adjustments and changed her training regime. I'm just saying, with the baby involved, maybe that took a back step.
Maybe. I mean, she has a couple decisions on her record. Actually, you know, Germaine Durand-May recently, and then 2 decisions against Shevchenko, which were high-paced fights, really high-paced fights. So I don't think that the cardio is going to be an issue with her. She seems to be a new level fighter. And you look at what she did to, I mean, just some of the highlight reels. Watching her highlights, it's fucking brutal. Like, she is really, really incredible. She's one of the best fighters in the world. I don't see any way she's going to lose this fight. You know, we'll see what happens, but I think that she's got a really, really well-rounded skill set. I don't see there's really not a chink in her armor right now. So,
no, I've got Harrington here pointing out in the chat, and there's no need for that. I'm well aware that Felicia Spencer was her last fight and was a decision. I didn't say that her last win was a knockout. I'm just saying, but that's what she's capable of course. And Germaine Durand-May is a sensational kickboxer as well. Very, very good kickboxer who had a surprisingly good showing against Amanda. So you never know. Anything's possible. But if I'm a betting man, I say go out there and put your money on. In fact, let me tell you
what are the odds?
minus 17 million to plus 365,000, something like that, I would assume. But you know what? I got a parlay on. Oh no.
You do? You gambled?
No, a buddy of mine put one on. He told me about bets. He put down $200 on a parlay, and it pays back $56,000.
What's the parlay?
And it was a good fucking parlay, right?
For this weekend.
For this weekend. And I'm like, put that down for me.
I want to put it down. What is it? Tell everyone right now.
Well, okay, but I'm just worrying if it's a conflict of, you know, certain sponsors on our show. Whatever. Here is this. Hold on, let me find it. Hold on.
You're not saying, you're just saying for $200, fuck it, I'll throw $200
That's what I said to him.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I said. I'm like,
yeah,
dude.
That's why I'm saying it's not a conflict. You're not even, it's not like you're rooting for somebody or saying this person's going to win. It's just stupid to not put this money down.
Yeah, so here's the bet. This pays a ridiculous amount of money, $50,000 for $200 down. Alexander Rakic by decision.
Oh, it's very specific.
Oh, yeah, well, of course it is, for that kind of fucking money. Alexander Rakic by decision. Askar Askarov via decision. He's a very good wrestler. Benavidez is fucking tough. That one's tricky because, you know, I love Joby. Islam Makhachev to win. I think he's definitely going to beat Drew Dober. They're talking about him being the next Khabib. In fact, Daniel Cormier was saying that when Khabib and Makhachev used to wrestle at American Kickboxing Academy, AKA, that Makhachev would dominate the wrestling. Nah, I think maybe that's a little bit of DC, just, you know, just stirring the pot or whatever. But still, Makhachev to win. So Rakic by decision, Askarov by decision, Makhachev to win, Piotr Yan to win, and then Izzy Yan to go over 2.5 rounds.
That's a good bet.
I know.
That's a good bet. That's not crazy.
Great bet. What
I can see every one of those things happening pretty easily.
Oh no, sorry, I got it wrong. $200 pays $50,000. I think I said 56. I don't know why. Yeah. So I put it in. Oh, and here's the shitty one. Nunes to win in the 3rd round.
Oh well, Bisping. That's the one. That is. Yeah. That is the part of it that it's too specific.
But that's worth $200
It's definitely worth $200. Honestly, it's worth
decision, Askarov decision, Makhachev to win, Peter Yan to win, Izzy and Yan to go over 2.5 rounds. I do believe that will happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes longer. Nunes to win in the 3rd round. But Nunes to win in the 3rd round, I think Megan will get out of the 1st. maybe she gets out the second. If she does,
Dude.
I'm fucking going fucking crazy this weekend.
If everything happened and then it's down to the last fight, I mean, you'll not be able to enjoy it.
I said to the guy, and I've been following up there, have you put that bet on for me?
Can you
Have you put...
Can you have put the bet on for me too, please?
We could discuss it off the show, correct? Yeah, but for $200, I can't. No, he's not my personal booking agent. He's a buddy that said I'm doing this. Hey, I have 17 people from the Believe You Me podcast that want you to put on the same bet. I'll give you the details. Perhaps figure it out yourself.
Please,
But
I
yeah.
would love to. I would love to have $50,000. That'd be so nice. What would you do? What would you do with the money?
Nothing.
Just free money. Just free money.
Nothing. Paid in the bank. There you go. Boom.
I just pay off my car.
Yeah.
I literally just pay off my car right there. Like, yeah, fuck it. Car's paid off. Don't gotta think about it.
Yeah, no, and that is nice. But still, I didn't realize that those kind of parlays can pay that big. Because I'm not the biggest gambling aficionado. Fortunately, I've got enough vices in my life. But still, $200 paying $50,000. And they're not bad picks either.
That's how they get you, though, because it's not going to happen. All of those things are not going to happen.
No, because another buddy of mine keeps calling me on a near daily basis. I lost $10,000 last night. He called me on online poker. He called me up recently, and I was so pissed. Well, I wasn't pissed. I was happy for it. But you know what I mean? I had a little bit of competitive joking. He won $150,000 on online poker, and I didn't believe him. I'm like, fuck off, no way. He's like, yeah, I did, and he showed me. He won $150,000, but then he lost it all over the course of 2 or 3 nights, and then he's lost another, I don't know how much. But still, there you go, gambling. Unless you go to betdsi.com, that shit's great because we got the special offer and stuff like that.
Of course.
So you'll be good.
Free money. Harrington, what's the most you've ever lost in poker? Harrington's actually pretty good at poker.
Most I've ever lost.
Yeah.
And won. Answer both.
I've had a $10,000 night in poker.
Winning?
Yeah, winning.
He doesn't have $10,000 to lose.
No, not right now. I don't know. No, I don't know. I mean, losing. I don't know. Probably like $2,000 would be the worst that I ever had out.
Still stings though.
It's not great. It's
No,
a pretty rough feeling.
Gambling's one of those things, right? Because I'm not a gambler. Chime in just a second, but like when you go Vegas, when you first start going there, you go to the casinos and stuff. So you start doing a bit of roulette because that's easy, right? Roulette's fucking easy. Just pick some numbers, there you go, boom, 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 boom. And if it comes in 36 to 1, fucking hell, you get some fat stacks, right? It's either the best night of your life when you're in the casino. You're like, fuck, I can't lose. Whoa! You're high-fiving, you're fucking shouting people over, the waitress is bringing you drinks, everyone's booing and cheering, or you're sitting there like the most miserable fucking bastard going, hey, shut up down there. Some people at the end of the table having the experience that I just spoke about. You're like, shut the fuck up, would you? Okay, dickhead. People losing money over here.
I like blackjack. When I go to the casino, that's what I play. I'm not a good gambler. When I sit down at the table, here's what every single time, I'll probably take out $500 and I'll say, I'm going to lose this money. I'm guaranteed to lose this money, and I'm saying I'm paying $500 for this experience to be with my friends. We're drinking, we're getting free drinks from the bartender. We're having a good time. And also with the tape, what's cool about blackjack is you're all rooting for each other. It's you against the house, so there's this like camaraderie there. If you're with a couple friends, even if you're with some strangers, if you start beating the dealer and you have a couple good hands, everyone's cheering for each other. But I've already made, because the first time I gambled in Vegas, UFC 71, first time I ever went to Vegas, Chuck Liddell versus Rampage Jackson. And I went out, and the first night I won like $300. And I was like, this is it. I'm moving to Vegas. I'm going to be a professional gambler. And then by night 3, I was broke. I mean, no money on me at all. I was with this chick. I had to borrow money from her. It was so fucking embarrassing. God damn it. And ever since then, I was like, I'm never going into it ever thinking I'm going to win anything again. And then you enjoy yourself. You say, fuck it, I'm just paying for the experience.
Harrington, you were going to say something. I was going to say something, but I'll let you get it in.
I did. It jogged a memory in me at UFC 196. I went out with about $5,000 and on like a Thursday.
Fucking Harrington. Listen to this guy winning $10,000, going out with $5,000 on a Thursday. Who is this person? You have lied to us, Harrington. You have misinformed the believers.
I used to have a real life once upon a time. But yes, I remember I went out with
Lewis.
It was a half a $10,000 candy bar, actually.
So go on. You went out with $5,000.
Yeah, I had $5,000 in an envelope. By the time the fights kicked off, I had, I think, $14 left in that thing, but I had a bunch of tickets. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of the winning of my bet slips, and it ended up being like I had a ton of money on Nate Diaz to beat Conor McGregor that night, had a ton of money on Miesha Tate to beat Holly Holm that night, on and on and on. Ended up leaving that weekend, I damn near doubled my $5,000. So that was one of the coolest runs, like the coolest 24-hour swings I've ever had.
Yeah, I've had a couple of good gambling ones, but I remember my mum came out to Vegas. Sorry, came out to visit me, and I was doing something for the UFC in Vegas. I said, "Mum, you want to come to Vegas with me?" Obviously, she's never been to Las Vegas, so my mum and my sister jump in the car. We drive there. We stay at the Red Rock Casino, beautiful place, one of Lorenzo Fertitta's hotels. And she plays like bingo and stuff, but she's never gambled. So I take her down to roulette and she liked blackjack, pardon me. So we're playing blackjack and stuff. And it's my mum. She does have a lot of money, and she's not gambling for a lot. And I think at the start, I'd give her a couple of $100. There you go, Mum, you gamble with that. And she's winning some, she's losing some. At the end, we're sitting around, me and my sister, my mum's gambling. She's doing okay, you know what I mean? And then, I give her the $200, and she had a nice little stack of chips at the end. I'm like, Mum, put it all in one hand. And she's like, why? I'm like, well, it's fucking fun, isn't it? You know what I mean? You start with 200, you've got about 200 there. If that comes in, you're going to walk away with 400 or 500, you know what I mean? Come on, it's free money, Mum, it's free money. And my mum's looking at me like, maybe that's a lot of money that I'm like, Mom, come on. Trust me, it's going to come in. Of course it didn't. She was very upset. She was very upset. She's like, that's the most amount of money I've ever seen in my life, Michael. You're a fucking asshole. I'm like, come on, let's get a drink. Sorry, Mom.
Oh, anyway. Man. Good for you. Good for your mom. I kind of want to gamble now. I'm in the mood to gamble as we're talking about it. I live in Jersey now. Gambling's legal. There's casinos all over the place.
Yeah. In Manchester, same thing. Casinos, or England, should I say, but not in California unless you go to the tribal lands. All right, so that leaves us. We've discussed the two other title fights. Israel Adesanya, Jan Blachowicz. We've talked about this a lot. You probably know. Well, I don't know. I'm going to say you know which way we're going to lean, but I don't think we have even said that.
I don't even know which way I'm going to lean, to be honest with you.
I don't know which way I'm going to lean. That's what makes it such a good fight.
It is a great fight. I mean, I think, look, Israel he's incredible. He's an incredible athlete. Obviously, the UFC, they don't invest in people like that for no reason. They are, the reason they put so much hype into Israel is because he's that good. And every time I pick against an Israel, I do this all the time. I was like, no, I'm not going to buy the hype. I'm going to be cool and pick the other guy. I'm wrong every single time, So, whereas I definitely want Jan to win, without a doubt. By the way, I call them both Jan because it's difficult to say Piotr and it's difficult to say Blachowicz.
Yeah.
So I call them both Jan.
Yeah,
Jan and Jan. So I'm definitely rooting for Jan. But I think this is going to be a tough, just because, look, Israel's such a precision striker. He's in and out. He's so fast. I think Jan's going to have a really tough time getting him to the ground. And I think Israel is just that much higher level than most people striking. I think it's going to be a really tough fight for Jan.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a tough fight for both of them. The reality is this: you don't get to be 20-0, right, in mixed martial arts, fighting the competition that Israel Adesanya has, unless you're special. Right, he's special. It's simple as that, right? When you watch him strike, and if you know the striking game, you see the way he competes, the way he moves, the fluidity, the shot selection, how he sets things up. He's special. He's fantastic. He's a tremendously experienced kickboxer, and he had a lot of success over there. And of course, that's transcended over here, and he's the champion of the world. So it's easy to think Israel's going to win this fight, right? That's why, because he is special. And he's taken over the middleweight division, and he did it with relative ease, and he's taken out a lot of the top contenders. Borrachinha was undefeated, Paulo Costa, and he dominated him, and he made it look easy. So it's easy to say, he's going to win this fight. And then if you look at Jan Blachowicz, of course, he's the champion. He's on a 4-fight win streak. Prior to that, he got knocked out against Thiago Santos. Adesanya doesn't have the knockout power that Thiago Santos does, right? I'm just going to say that, right? He has knockout power. Adesanya has knockout power. Thiago Santos has fucking freak knockout power. So there's no shame there, right? He was on another 4-fight win streak where he beat Nikita Krylov. He's good. He beat Jimmy Manuwa. He beat Jared Cannonier, and he beat Devin Clark. So we had 4. So other than that one Thiago Santos, he was on an 8-fight win streak. And then prior to that, he lost to Patrick Cummins by decision. Patrick Cummins is a sensational wrestler. I used to train with Patrick. He's one of my sparring partners. Man can wrestle his fucking head off. And before that was a decision to Alexander Gustafsson, a loss. You know, and Gustafsson was one of the best in the world, and that was 2016, 5 years ago. You know.
Yeah, that's when Gustafsson was on top.
Yeah, that's when he was on top. Yeah, so it's a tough matchup. Stylistically, it's a very interesting matchup. Jan's got to go forward, use forward pressure, and Israel, for the most part, has got to use the maintain separation, like I said before. Obviously, one thing that's an X factor for Jan is that he has the submissions. You know what I mean? And he has the wrestling, and he's a big, strong fucking guy. He is the bigger guy. He is the stronger guy. And I will say he probably hits harder, right? Simple as that. He's known for his Polish power. Knocked out, who did he knock out? Submitted Nikita Krylov, knocked out Rockhold, knocked out Anderson, knocked out Dominic Reyes, that John Jones couldn't do. And he's fast. He's fast. When you think of Jan Blachowicz, you think of a big, lumbering guy. I saw him on the pads this week. Ooh! Those hands were like fucking lightning. So anyway, for all those reasons, I still don't know who to pick. I think it's a tremendous fight, and I can see it going both ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm leaning toward Israel, just because everything we talked about, him being undefeated, him, you know, he's got, like, you know, lightning in a bottle, like he has something there. But I am rooting for Jan Blachowicz. Blachowicz. I can't say his last name. Blachowicz. Blachowicz. Blah, you hoe bitch. Blah, you hoe bitch. All right.
Blah, 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 hoe bitch. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're going to say.
Okay, Blachowicz.
He's coming at me and he's talking. Oh, I can't do a New Zealand accent.
I thought you were doing Nick Diaz.
Yeah. Blah, 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 hoe bitch. That's not bad, actually. I don't know. Who am I going to pick?
You gotta pick one. Well, you want your parlay to win, so fucking pick for your parlay.
What did I say in the... Oh, no, I said the parlay to go over 2.5 rounds.
Oh, that's it.
I do believe it will go over 2.5 rounds. I'll tell you this as well. I believe if Izzy wins, it's by decision. If Jan wins, it's by stoppage. I can't see Jan outskilling him, out finessing him, for 5 rounds. I don't see that, because when you look at Israel, I mean, look at his ring walks, look at the breakdancing, look at all that stuff. That's a guy that's got extreme coordination. You know what I mean? Any man that can dance like that has control of his body. You know what I mean? Jan's kind of like me to a certain degree. He's a big guy. He's fucking, you know, he works hard. He's probably a very well-known tough guy in his neighborhood. You know what I mean? But he's not fucking popping fucking out breakdancing and doing all that shit and backflips and all the rest of it. That's a different level of coordination.
We heard Jan's music. You cannot breakdance to draconian Polish folk music. It was horrifying. I hear it in my nightmares.
Death march, okay?
It really was, dude. I was like, what are we listening to right now? I feel like we should be goose-stepping.
Yeah. But, if Izzy wins, I say by decision. If Jan wins, I think he catches him. I know Jan's talking about a left high kick. I think 6'4" is a big head. There's a high kick. I mean, you can still do that. I could do that. So if I could do it, Jan could do it. Even in my pitiful state, I could still do it. So, yeah, I think if Jan wins, it's KO. If Izzy wins, decision.
Do you think he can submit him?
Who?
Jan can submit him, because the black belt, and I guess Izzy just got his purple belt. So that's a big difference there.
It's a big difference. And also, if you look at the circumstances of how Izzy got his purple belt, he was training with some people there. I think it was Andre Galvao, and Galvao gave him a purple belt because he was there for a few weeks training with him, you know. And again, I'm not discrediting his purple belt. Of course, he's fucking purple belt. I'm a brown belt. Good for him. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's good to get a little bit of rub. You say, I'm a purple belt on the Galvao. Anyway, if you look at what's his face, Jan Blachowicz, he's got a lot of submissions. How many submissions? I'll tell you right now. That's what you're all thinking. How many? You want to know? 9. 9 submissions, 8 knockouts. I don't know who wins.
I want Jan to win. I'm rooting for Jan so fucking hard in this fight.
I'll tell you why. I kind of want Jan to win, because Izzy's got the middleweight belt. If he loses this fight, he's still the champ. You know what I mean? And I don't know, but when I see Jan and I see what he's been through and I see where he comes from and I see how hard he works and you see the love for his child, and that probably all crosses over to Israel Adesanya. He hasn't got children, but he has love for other people in his life. He has love for his parents.
does have a child, I believe.
Oh, does he?
I might be wrong about that, but I think he did.
Oh, well, my apologies. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, no, I mean, you see on the countdown show, he brought his mother a Porsche Cayenne. God bless him. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see. I'm a massive fan of Izzy. I'm a massive fan of Jan. The only reason I would say I'm leaning towards Jan a little bit is because if Izzy loses, he's still the middleweight champion. And I'm just looking at it from a human being aspect here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you like the show.
You like Jan a lot as a person, so.
I like Izzy. I was talking to Izzy, I don't know, a few months ago. I went to do the Contender. He was there with one of his guys, Carlos Solberg. He won on the Contender, looked fantastic. He's fighting on the undercard. Keep an eye out for Carlos Solberg. He's very, very good. In fact, talking of that, Carlos Solberg is one of Izzy's main sparring partners. And Carlos Solberg is a big motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So that also leads me to say Izzy is used to sparring with these bigger guys, which of course
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Izzy's talked about chasing John Jones to heavyweight, so, you know, I think Izzy has some pretty big aspirations. But, you know, I think that, man, this is a fucking hard fight to pick. It's a really hard fight to pick. Izzy has nothing to lose, though, ultimately, right? He obviously, his undefeated record, he never wants to lose that, and it sends him on a very different trajectory, right? So if he loses, he still has a 185-pound title, but he doesn't have that champ status. The John Jones fight is essentially a wash at that point. That won't happen. Him being realized as the greatest of all time, it could very well, that could squash that if he loses this fight. So the stakes are very high for Izzy as well, but he's going up. So losing to a guy that's in a higher weight class than you, that's bigger, you know, it's definitely a softer thing. Like, Jan's gonna fucking be furious if he just gets the belt, then loses it to a middleweight. That's gonna suck.
Of course. So he's probably left no stone unturned in training camp. Listen, there's something to this, though. Israel is 20-0, right? So he truly believes right now that he can beat John Jones. He believes he can beat Jan. He believes he can beat everybody. Why? Because he comes over from kickboxing, comes over from boxing. I think he had a 5-1 record there. And now he's 20-0 in the UFC, and he's the champion, and he's defended the belt, and he's taken out killers, right? He's never tasted defeat. I talk about it. I was telling Callum before. When I was 15-0, I thought I could beat anybody on the planet. Why? Because you have until that point. You've gone out there in the toughest sport in the fucking world and you've taken on everybody. So why shouldn't you believe he can beat people? And I know, and I'm not just saying this because me and Rockhold are cool now, but, you know, when I said that, conceive, believe, achieve, shut the fuck up, whatever, I was being funny, but there is something to that. You know, having that self-confidence, having that ultimate belief will help you in life. If you believe yourself and you treat yourself like a champion, you act like a champion, you consider yourself a champion, and you do everything else in life that surrounds that and bolsters that fight, that mindset, that is very, very powerful. And that's what Israel has right now. Jan doesn't have that. He's not undefeated. He came here the long way round. He lost 4 out of 5 at one stage. You know what I mean? Jan knows his limitations because it's been drilled into him. Jan knows that he's human. He knows he can be hurt. Israel, and you could say that ignorance is bliss, or you could say that ignorance is going to be foolhardy for it. You know what I mean? But there's 2 ways you can look at it. But right now, Israel truly doesn't believe that anybody can compete with him.
I mean, look, I like that train of thought. I like the idea of the law of attraction and sort of believing in anything and sort of, manifesting those things in your life. If you really
do that for ages, my chaps are lips are chapped, and I've been dying to put this fucking chapstick on, but I'm like, it's not a good look. But I'm on camera, and like in the old days, when you spoke, it would go to your mind. I just got to do that, so I'll put my lipstick on. Go ahead, sorry, bud.
No, it's fine. So, but yeah, I mean, look, I think if you really believe, like, if you really truly believe that you're going to be the champion of the world, or you're going to be the greatest that's ever done this, your mind and body are going to sort of follow suit accordingly. You're going to train like a champion. You're going to train like you're the best in the world. You're going to. It's not like Bilal Muhammad. He was talking about, you asked him a great question where it's like, if it's all in God's plan, why even train? He was like, well, no. It's in God's plan if you train, essentially, is what he said. He was like, if you do everything that you're supposed to do, then it's part of that. So I think that there's really something to that. If you've read like The Secret or any of those self-help books, that's sort of the philosophy behind it. But yeah, there's definitely something to it. And people that believe it really believe it.
Yeah, what Bilal was talking about, if you recall, he said, never leave your camel untied. So basically, you got to help yourself. And I should have known that because I've read The Alchemist, and they talk about that in there. Mac 2, it is written. Have you ever read The Alchemist?
I have not.
Very short book. It's decent, you know, it sends a little message. Very short though, you could read it in your spare time. Maybe squeezing out a long dump, you could get through it. But yeah, there you go. So who you got?
I mean, it doesn't matter, right? I can just pick Jan. It's not gonna hurt.
Whatever the fuck you want, no one cares. Listen, you know, no one's bothered, no one cares. But for me, maybe I got a little bit of shit because I think Izzy, for a while, we had a few messages. I'm like, no, there's no fucking hate, man. I was a little slow. Say again.
Did he get back to you after this last time?
I'm not sure. Yeah, no, we were messaging kind of recently. No, but at first I told him, I said, listen, I was a little late to get on the bandwagon. I said, but hey, fair play, man, you proved me wrong. I'm fully on board now. And he's like, all right, fair enough, you know. Because it did seem like that. It did seem like certain fights didn't show up, you know what I mean?
Right.
But when it becomes a habit of people not showing up, well, it's not that they're not showing up, it's that they're intimidated. It's that, because when you're in there, like, I hate to bring myself up, but people used to say to me, people used to watch me on camera and go, he's an easy fight. And then I'd speak to them afterwards and go, fucking hell, we thought you were going to be easy. When you're in there with you, you're a completely different kettle of fish. And the same thing was, is it? I used to look and think, well, his opponents aren't showing up, so no wonder he's going to win. Well, there's a reason when fucking 5, 6, 7 opponents and guys like Yoel and guy like Paulo Costa aren't showing up. It's because of what he's doing. It's because of his presence in the octagon. Do you know what I mean? So you can't hate on him for that. You got to give him credit.
John Jones had a similar thing. I remember people were very frustrated with watching Rampage versus him. They're like, why isn't he throwing more than 1 or 2 punches? It's like, because he couldn't. As soon as he tried to throw more than 1 or 2 punches, John Jones was kicking him in the fucking head. And I think that Israel sort of poses those other problems for people where they sort of get in front of him and then they get stuck because he is that talented. So yeah, I was also the very same, very similar thing. And it has nothing to do with Izzy. I sort of said it at the top of the show. I'm always rooting for the underdog. I'm always rooting for the guy that's not supposed to win. And Izzy's just he was supposed to be the guy to win. Each time they presented him as this very special fighter. And I can connect much more with the Rocky Balboa story than the story about some guy who was just, God's gift to this earth.
I was about to say I think Izzy's going to win. So I think that's where I put my money. But then, I no disrespect to Kelvin Gastelum, but Kelvin Gastelum almost beat him. You know what I mean? If Kelvin Gastelum can push forward, push the pace, land head kicks, and give him a fucking war like that, so can Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz is a much bigger person.
Yeah.
He's a big, strong guy.
Maybe twice his size.
Twice his size, heavy hands. Fucking, you could hit him with a fucking house brick and the guy's still going to stand there. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a great fight. Fuck it. I'll say Jan. Because we're going to pick someone and we're going around in circles here, and I'm sure everyone listening on the audio version is like, for fuck's sake, make a pick. But my pick is $50 home, right? 2.5 rounds, it'll go over. Rakic by decision, Askar by decision, and all that shit. What I said earlier, $50,000, baby boy.
I love it. Yeah, all right. So we're both picking Jan. Harrington, you want to go pick on these title fights?
Yeah, sure. You want to give all 3?
Sure.
I think Aljo gets done. I mean, you can't bet against Amanda Nunes. And, I mean, if nobody here is going to pick Israel Adesanya, I'll take the undefeated guy, I guess.
We're just idiots.
I know, when you put it like that, we sound so... You find how to come back on. I wasn't dismissing you. You're right. When you put it like that, we sound so foolish. We sound foolish, and it sounds like we're doing a disservice to Adesanya.
A couple updates on the Adesanya thing. I put it here in the chat. He has a chance to become the first man to become a champ while also undefeated, going for his 10th win in the UFC, 21st win in MMA overall. Also worth noting, this week he said that super fight with John Jones is going to have to wait until December. He said that fans deserve to be there. He wants it in front of a sold-out crowd. Dana White himself said if Izzy gets this win here, he deserves that stadium treatment in America. So do you guys see that being a possibility? Possibly a triple champ in December if Jones gets it done and Izzy gets it done here.
Listen, I just picked fucking Jan to beat him in the double champ scenario. Don't fucking sit there and make me have to talk bad about Israel. Could you imagine? Listen, there's weight classes for a reason. There is. That's just the reality. There's weight classes for a reason, and Israel, by all accounts, if what we're led to believe is true, doesn't really get above 195 pounds, 193, right? That's an issue when you find heavyweights. And of course, back in the day, with some of the slower heavyweights and the guys that weren't very good and this and that, he could have done that. But you know, when you got guys like Stipe Miocic, you got guys like Francis Ngannou, Curtis Blades, you know, all these big dudes that hit. It's a different ball game. There's no cruiserweight in UFC. It goes from light heavyweight to heavy. That's a potential 60-pound jump. And a lot of the guys are cutting weight to make heavyweight. So again, I'm not hating on Izzy. I'm not. But I was just, it's like, let's see how he does at light heavyweight before we start talking about heavyweight. You know, and I think that's fair enough.
I mean, technically, no. He doesn't have. If he comes in, does he have to be over 205 pounds to fight at heavyweight though?
No. I mean,
so he can come in for a heavyweight fight at 188.
Well, it's not open weight, is it? It's not open weight. So yeah, but I guess if you're open to taking that fight, then yes, you don't have to weigh 205. But
right.
If you just drink a gallon of water, and I'm sure it'd be way over 205. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, I want to see how he does against Jan. Right.
Yeah.
If he can come in, if he beats Jan. Like, he comes in and fucking, and it's like, holy shit, Izzy is here, dude. He's like legit champ. He beats Jan. I want to see how he does in some grappling exchanges. You know, then we're gonna be able to really see what he can do with Jon Jones, because you gotta understand, dude, Jon Jones is such a physically gifted athlete, and he's such a good grappler that mixes it up so well with the striking. I don't think Izzy's seen anything like Jon Jones yet. You know, and I think Jon Jones might be as good of maybe not as technically as good as a striker as Izzy, but he's goddamn effective for mixed martial arts. Jon Jones is one of the most creative strikers ever to be in the octagon, and we've been harsh on Jon Jones, and now it sounds like I'm sucking his dick, but I'll tell you right now, Jon Jones would be a tough fight for Izzy. I can't imagine him getting it done. He's just got.
Hold on. Are you talking about the consensus greatest of all time, undefeated apart from a bullshit disqualification? Yeah, and it sounds like what we just said, saying, oh, maybe Jan wins and we're going against the undefeated guy. To say that Izzy would do the same to Jon, it's almost being disrespectful to Jon. You know what I mean? So the reality is they're all fucking good. They're all good. Jan's good, Izzy's good, Jon is great. In fact, Izzy's great. Jan is on his way to being great. You know what I mean? He just won the belt. This will be his first defense. If he can beat Israel Adesanya, that's amazing. You know what I mean? But I guess people will say, oh, it's a guy from a smaller weight class. You know what I mean? There's always those conversations. And then they'll say, well, if Jon Jones was here, he wouldn't be the champion. You know what I mean? Israel Adesanya is great. Simple as that. He's a legend in the making. In fact, he's done enough to be considered a legend if he were to retire right now. Jon Jones, same thing. But still, let's see how this fight goes Saturday night before we talk about heavyweight. Hot take, I believe we're going to see Izzy on his back. I think Jan gets a takedown because he's going to go forward swinging. The problem is, here's what he's going to do. He's going to close the distance, Jan. And to do that, he's going to punch, go forward, throwing punches, way more technical and better than I'm doing now. And then when you're doing that, then you grab the legs. And you get the takedown, right? Problem is, if he's doing it like that, a little sloppy, then he's going to get sniped off, is it? And then he's going to push off. So it's not as simple as that. You've got to have a clinical approach. You've got to have a tactical approach. You've got to use feints. Like, if I pretend I'm going to throw right hand, they're going to counter, and you wait for their shot to come back to the head, and then that's when you go in. So it's all techniques, it's timing, it's setting traps. So Jan's going to have to do that, but it's a tough fucking fight for both of them. But I'll be honest, we've talked about this now. I don't know. May the best man win. There you go.
All right, real quick, let me do plugs, and then we can quick hit a couple more topics. I know you got to do dinner with the fam, which is very exciting.
Yeah, no. We'll save the topics. We'll do plugs. We'll chat for 5 minutes, and then we'll leave it be. Yeah, we've been going an hour 20 here. We're good.
I love it. All right, real quick, guys. You love the show. Go to our iTunes. Leave us a 5-star rating, positive review. Subscribe on YouTube as well. Brand new episodes to YouTube, typically Monday and Thursdays at midnight. I know this one came out a few hours later, but typically Mondays and Thursdays at midnight. You can subscribe right there. Hit the notification button. Get a notification every time we go live right to your phone. And if you guys want access to the entire on-demand library, every episode that we've ever done, ad-free and uncensored, go to gasdigitalnetwork.com. Use that promo code BYM. Get a 14-day free trial. And fan questions as well. If you guys want to join the conversation, send us fan art questions, video questions, audio questions, whatever it is, bympod@gmail.com. That's the website, or that's the email address. Send us an email, even if you just want to give us a compliment. We like reading the compliments sometimes as well.
We like a compliment. And in fact, on that note, Brian, do we have any questions? We'll do a couple of questions to finish off, and then we'll leave you all to it. Enjoy your weekend. Of course, big fights, and we're all late to the table on this one, so we apologize for that, as Lewis said. But yeah, Brian, what have we got? Anybody chiming in with anything fun?
Yeah, we got this question here from Dallas Singer. Give me 1 second to pull that up.
No problem, Brian. Where are you going to be watching the fights on Saturday?
Me?
Not an illegal stream on Discord.
When I said where, I meant like physically, where will you be?
I'll be home, man. I haven't left my house in a year. We're all
Oh,
in it
really?
together.
Fucking hell, man. What about you, Lewis?
I'm going to be watching it at home. I got a gig on Saturday night early. I'm going to zip home. I'm going to watch it with my son and my girlfriend. That's our new thing. My girlfriend comes over to watch the fights with my kid now. They both love it.
Nice. All right, Dallas Singer, what you got?
Hey, anyone, dead or alive. Hey,
What?
oh, they said they don't want those stupid, boring, fucking generic questions. So think of something else. Oh, hey, shit. All right, Mike, I saw you on Ariel and the Bad Guy this week. Loved the show. Actually loved it better than when Tails on it. Never mind that. What's going to take for Ariel to do a guest spot on BYM, on the Believe You Me podcast? I'd like to see you, Lewis, Harrington, Ariel chop it up. And the question I have is, who is a guest, non-MMA related, you would like to see on the show? Let us know. Love everything you guys do. Fuck that guy with the gun. Peace.
Yeah, Dallas Singer there. And that's how you do a video question.
That is how you do a fucking video question. Creative, different, wielded a weapon. Probably it was illegal. Love it.
Yeah. No, it was good. Good, I liked it. Thank you, Dallas, for the question. What was the question? No, I know the last bit. What was the first bit?
When is Ariel going to come on the show?
Oh. Yeah, we'll get Ariel on, I guess. It'll be a laugh. I did speak to him a long time ago about coming on once. He said, yeah, sure. And in fact, didn't we have him on in the early days, Lewis?
I don't think we did.
I think we did.
I don't think we did.
I think we did.
I know we didn't, because I've done one podcast with him ever, and it wasn't this one.
No, I know. Oh, hold on. The radio show.
I don't think we did.
I'm pretty sure we did. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, we can do that. We'll get Ariel on sometimes. I love Ariel. He's awesome. He will do anything that makes his star bigger. He will do anything that gets him more Twitter followers, has more people talking about him. So maybe once we hit 1 million subscribers, Ariel will come over to us. But until then, we are just lowly peasants to him. But what was the next question, Lewis?
The next question was, who is a non-MMA guest that you guys would like to get on the show? Kristen, I mean, you're the fucking born with the celebrity Rolodex. You can just go into your phone right now. You can call fucking Vin Diesel. You can call Mickey Rourke. The guy from the Smashing Pumpkins.
Listen, yeah, but they got no relevance on this show. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, Vin Diesel doesn't matter. He's fucking relevant at all times. Mickey Rourke would be good to get because that's how I know Mickey. He's just the biggest fight fan. He is the biggest fight fan. And if you look at his Instagram or if you follow any of the UFC fighters, you'll see Mickey commenting, liking. He's just a huge fan. He loves boxing. I mean, what a guy. Walked away from boxing from a very successful acting career to focus on being a boxer. I mean, that fucking takes balls, man. And then obviously came back to acting in the end. But that's how much he loves the sport, and that's how we met. So yeah, maybe we get Mickey on one day. But he's I'm sure he's a busy man, things to do.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's got to be somebody that we have a relationship with. We don't do a traditional interview podcast. It's easy to interview people about fights because it's, you know, fight-centric podcast, but it's got to be somebody that, you know, if we were in person, if we were all in LA in a studio, maybe we could do something like that. That'd be perfect.
That's so different. If we're all together in a studio, yeah. Because I have a lot of people that come to me, and some people reach out and say, oh, get such and such on your podcast, and I'm like, it's not like that. Do you know what I mean? We do our thing. We bring a fighter on. We talk about their fight or whatever. If they're big in the fight game, whatever, we'll talk about their fight, what's going on in the fight world, yada, yada, yada. But it's not where we have a guest on for an entire episode. You know, so some people go, oh, can we get this guy on your podcast? He wants to talk about such and such. He's got a book coming out, whatever. I'm like, no, we can't. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you, Dallas Singer, for that one. Brian, we got one more, or shall we leave it?
Yeah, this one's a little more long-winded than the other one. And surprisingly, another person also asked this question. So I'm just going to play this video.
Okay.
First of all, lads, love the show. Love you, Brian Harrington. Even though I take the piss out of you so savage. You need to learn how to fucking give it back. I don't understand why you don't give it some back. You get me? But anyway, different stories now, yeah? Bisping, if this was a few hundred years ago, you would be the King of England.
It's true.
So, how does it feel that you haven't been knighted? Because I believe you should be knighted. You know, at least for all the suffering you've done, all the heart you've shown, all the dedication you've shown to the game. Just as an idol, as a father, I mean, I look up to you as a person because the way you are with your kids is just absolutely amazing. And your wife, big up your wife for standing through you.
Leave my wife out of this, Leo.
Yo, yeah, I find many women like that. Serious talk. Get me. Anyway, that's my question to you. So solidly, I really do believe he's United. Luis J. Gomez, my question to you. How are you going to beat this fucking weirdo Jason Ellis geezer? Do you reckon you're going to finish him? Do you reckon it's decision? What do you think? How long is it? Because, and is it pay-per-view? Because I believe, you know, you're a big enough star to be pay-per-view, and I'm
please, Leo, don't get him started.
You're a lot bigger than him, rolling around with Bisping and all that type of stuff nowadays with an Audi. Yo, keep doing you, fam. Big up you. Some questions coming in the future. Let's go, motherfuckers. Big up Darren Till as well. Next champion. Fuck off.
I like this guy. He's got great energy, but he says too many words. He needs to get to the fucking point.
I like Leo. Leo's fucking great. You leave him alone, okay? I'm sensing a Midlands accent there. Could be wrong, but it's a little bit of Birmingham. Could be wrong, but Leo, thank you very, very much. And I'll be honest, I agree, now, Lewis. He said so much. I've forgotten what the fuck he started with.
Your question is, yes.
Should I be 90? No, I shouldn't. Would I like to be? Yes. That'd be awesome. It'd be great. I want it. I want it a lot. But it's not going to happen, and I don't think I deserve it. Cage fighters, scrappers, I don't think the Queen's handing out knighthoods for that. You're right, massively underappreciated. You know, didn't even get a fucking Sports Personality of the Year award, Lewis. You know what I mean? But god damn, it's fine. But thank you for reminding me of my shortcomings in life, Leo. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words about my wife. I do appreciate that as well. Lewis, how are you going to beat Jason Ellis?
I think I'm gonna knock him out, but I mean, look, he's got a fucking hard head. He's got a really hard head. He doesn't get knocked out too easy. So I'm planning on going in, just being in better shape and being busier and just staying in his face the whole time. And me and him spoke today. We're looking at July or August, and of course it's gonna be on pay-per-view. The last House Mania was on pay-per-view. Are you fucking kidding me? So yeah, I'll let you guys know as soon as we have a date for that. But I've been training my fucking ass off, as you guys can see.
Oh yeah, you look tip-top. You look tip-top. All right, well that's it. There's our show. Enjoy the fights this weekend. We'll be back on Monday. We'll talk about how terrible our picks are. We'll talk about how annoyed we are if that $50,000 bet comes in and my guy didn't have to put that bet down for me, the mother effer. But still, enjoy your weekends. Lewis?
Put his press play and let's get it in. Cause we rocking with the fighter and he rolling with the kids. Fighter and the kids, fighter and the kids, fighter and the
Yeah,
All
right. Hot dog.
He claps you in.
Like an Italian baker. Like a black girl graduating.
Cats are unprofessional.
Unprofessional.
When does the Oprah music start playing?
Oh, that's Wendy Williams. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is Wendy Williams still popping?
Yeah, she just had a movie on Lifetime.
She did?
Yeah.
About her?
About her.
But does that mean she's popping if you have
I know,
a movie
right?
on Lifetime?
Hey, she's popping. You guys are talking about it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I was just curious about
Fair.
it.
That's all she wanted.
Right there, we just
That
did
is
that.
true.
We
That
just
is
did that.
true. Well, you can't be like, is Wendy Williams popping? And she is right now.
Now she is.
I bet. She just popped.
Well, she made headlines because she said she hooked up with Method Man.
Method Man was shot.
A few years ago.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
Yeah. Method
Oh,
Man
yeah, I
was
can
like,
see why that'd be a problem.
Yeah, he was like, Why you like, bitch, you were a size 14 to us. Like, you were a size 14 to us.
Oh, that's it, man.
Like, Method Man's bugged.
he popping. You got to score that.
Is he big again?
Yeah.
Like swole? Like, bro, he's big. Remember when Busta Rhymes got real swole? And then Dr. Dre?
Can I tell you something? A second. Busta Rhymes is the biggest dude I've ever like.
No, really?
One time at the Comedy Store, I forgot the I think it was Trent. I forgot whoever one of the door guys. He comes up to me in the park. I just pulled up and he goes, man, I just got into it with Busta Rhymes. And I said, what? Because Busta was trying to park, you know, and he was good. And the door guy is just a racket. You know,
Yeah.
they make more money than the comics.
By far.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, just like selling booths, selling parking.
Yeah,
He's trying
it's a
to get-
hustle.
He was trying to get $100 out of Busta to
Yeah.
park in the parking lot, right? And so it turned into a thing. So he's retelling me the story, and up walks Busta Rhymes. Like, is that motherfucker telling you about how he? And so I went like this. No, you know, he was just telling me how he made a big mistake.
Yeah.
with you actually.
Yeah, trying to help him out.
Yeah, you're the guy. Yeah, you know, but this dude is huge.
Really?
Okay? I'm telling you, he shook my hand, and then one of his fingers was like this. Like, that was one of his fingers. And I was like, this is the biggest dude I've ever seen.
Put his hands I didn't know that.
I was like, he could kill us both. Yeah, man. He is a big
Let me see Method Man too.
No,
shit.
Method Man
I know
is
Method
Method
Man.
Man. It's like, you can't tell that don't show.
No.
You need to put a stapler next to him or something. So you can it's like put a little white baby there so you can see.
It's like health is tight now, man.
Yeah,
Like
right.
everyone's trying to get in shape
That's
and
a
shit.
hit.
We're all doing it, man.
Look at him. Look, it was his
COVID.
birthday. It was his birthday the other day. He posted. Look how big he
Oh,
is.
I can tell you what it is.
What?
How old is he? He must
He's
be.
50. I think
Okay.
he just turned. He's like,
He got to be
Oh,
old.
dude.
Bro, he just had a birthday the other day.
No, he got to be old, dude. No, dude, I'm telling you.
He's 50 years old. He's 50
Let me tell you
years
what
just had his
happens. I'm gonna
birthday.
tell you what happens when you get into your 40s. Hello, I'm right here. All this, you don't know you need to take care of your health until you need to take care of your health.
Okay.
Okay, and when you get to this age is when you start. This is when you start going vegan. When you start going paleo. When you go like, I need to start working
shit
out.
out.
Like
Yeah.
I always say, at night I turn into a Hogwarts potion master because at night I'm like ginger root. Turmeric. Give me that ashwagandha. Is that ashwagandha over there? What a wand is shit like that. You know, asparagus mythos. You know, and I fucking drink this shit, and I'm like, whoo, that's gonna do it for me. I got fish oil. I got B12. I got testosterone, whatever.
Yeah,
I got like
start
all.
dialing it
Yeah,
in.
you because
You eat meat?
yeah, I still.
Oh, you still eat meat?
Yeah. I protein, but not all the time. You know, you go like, that's when you gotta be like, oh, I gotta go to sleep at 11. I gotta wake up at 8. I gotta like, this is what happens.
Yeah.
So you start because it's like young people that are into fitness and taking care of themselves. Good for them. You will live longer. You will be healthier. You know, because the people that haven't been doing that, they get because now we don't bounce back. Method Man's knees hurt.
Hell yeah.
Method Man stayed out all night one night trying to drink Cavassier and shit, and he woke up like, I am gonna die, you know?
Yeah.
And then the doctor said to him, and then here's another thing too, what happens? Even when you get in shape, you go to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, your blood sugar's bad.
but I lost.
No, that's how it
They're
is.
like, oh,
That's real shit.
yeah, it's real talk,
it happened to
man.
me with my blood pressure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I was like, but my resting heart rate's 45. They're like, yeah, we don't give a fuck. Your blood pressure's through the roof now.
Yeah. So that's when you start to really start to like look. So I'm not surprised that I see someone. And then the thing too in this country, unfortunately, somebody with money, you have a better chance to like take care of yourself and be healthy because you have the resources to do it.
It's expensive. Yeah, it can get expensive too. Yeah. Plus, I also think I don't know when he started his health journey, but also with COVID too. Like the one thing we know about COVID, the people who are in shape who get it, more likely to survive. Like that's one way to beat COVID,
and also not get it too. Like, vitamin D is another thing that people that you don't know until you get older that's important. I mean, it's like half the country's vitamin D deficient and don't even know it. And vitamin D does a lot. I started taking vitamin D, nails growing fast, hair was looking. I was like, God damn, all right.
Baddie, just looking great.
Yeah, I was like,
where was this shit earlier?
Turned into a baddie, huh?
Sunny to look at bad bitch.
You're like, damn.
He's on Instagram.
I went from 4 to
Thanks,
5.5. Oh shit!
Thanks, vitamin D.
That's a huge jump right there, though.
Yeah.
He said he moved up from 4 to 5.5. That's a huge jump, though. Huge jump, dog.
You know what? Important. You know what we were watching?
I'm down 40 pounds.
Yeah,
I know.
You look
Well,
good.
I saw you walk by. I was like, God damn. You dropped that game.
Yeah, but you still, how old are you, 29?
Yeah, you get out of here. You gotta be too something to do something. Right?
I know it is weird hearing like people like our age brag about we fit and shit like that. But like for someone like in their 40s, when they brag about it, it's
That's
like
a big
damn,
deal.
It's a big
But
deal.
me and Jay were
Really
making
hard.
fun of
Yeah.
really everybody in the group chat because how impressed you guys are by 225.
Yeah.
Like that's our warm up.
I know because you come from football,
Jay doesn't know. He's just a big, thick dude. So Jay's like, dude, like, he'll be like, yeah, man, like 10 times. And Jay's like, look, give him warm up. Give him like 20.
Well, Jay is not an ectomorph. Again, I got to
He's
try.
a big dude.
Yeah. I'm 190 right now.
I 190. Get the fuck out of here, dog.
Why you look away? Yo, hey, what the fuck? Hey,
It's the way you look at that 190, my 2 arms and this leg.
What I was gonna say to you, Eric, is we were on the road in Tampa this past weekend. We were scrolling through shit to watch, and Workaholics was on there, which I fucking love. We were, and
Coming out with a movie, they're doing a movie.
that's
saw that.
that was my question
I
for you.
saw
Are you
that.
are you in the movie, the
I mean,
Workaholics movie?
I mean,
How could you not be?
I mean, I would be mad. You want to talk about like it would be some hateful shit out on the internet, you know what I mean? But it is what it is, because they told me about it. So I don't think they telling me about it. Like Adam said, I got some great news, and I was like, either your girl's pregnant or we're doing a Workaholics movie. That's what I said to him.
Oh wow.
So so I mean, I'm not surprised.
That show's so good. My I never had a regular job with my brother. My brother works in an office, and he's like, the reason why this show carried on for so long, he's like, bro, that's how it is in those offices. He's like, all these personalities and like the relationships. He's like, that's why that show's so big.
Yeah.
My brother's like, that's exactly how it is.
Well, I love that it's kind of like what it's gonna also do is make people be like, well, let me check that show out, and then it's
Revisit it.
Was it 7 seasons?
My Instagram blew up
7
just when that news came out. I got all these messages, and I was like, damn, how do you deal with it?
Because you killed it, dog.
So
What was it? 7 seasons?
Yeah, we did 7.
One of the episodes we watched in Tampa was the one where it's mainly you. It's you and that.
Bill.
That old guy. Yeah.
Bill and Ted.
Koreatown.
Excellent Adventure.
Koreatown. Yeah.
It was in Koreatown, yeah. And you got kidnapped and over the briefcase.
I keep telling them, like, for this movie, let's do something from Montez that we can spin off.
There you go.
I'm like, let energy out there. Put that out there.
But it makes sense though, because you're a character when you have a good amount of airtime where it's like, fuck yeah. Like when you're on them, it's hell yeah.
And a solid character.
But it's always about them, though. You know what I mean? It's just always been about them. Even when we're shooting the show, it's always about them. So me and the guy Bill, we would always have this joke on set. It'd be like, we'd be like, so what's the over-under on our takes? So when the camera turns on us, 2.5 would be the. Because like when it's on them, it's like single on Adam, single on Blake, single on Durs, double on Adam and Durs. Let's solo on it. So we do like 15 things this way. Then they turn it around. 2 takes. Moving on. We got it. Moving on. Like I can't even. What? That's it. That's all I get. That's all about them.
Yeah. That's a big ass show, man.
Yeah.
Big show.
Yeah, man. So it was like, you know, there was just something, the synergy of like those guys. They have something, so they're doing a podcast right now, and I think that they realize, man, we're just, you know, we have our individual things, but we're just better together. You know,
There's only one of them's actual stand-up, right?
yeah, it's only Adam.
Only Adam's a stand-up. The other two are just
Yeah,
Straight up action.
yeah, they're acting.
They're good at like improv.
Yeah.
That's right.
Those kind of performers. But then like Kyle, you know, he's a big director now. He directed Murder Mystery. That's how I got in it. You know? Yeah, he recommended me to Sandler, and then Sandler looked at my stuff, and then I got the part. You know? You know, yeah, it was real simple. And then he's like, and then he told me about it. I remember Kyle called me. He's like, you know, I get this thing's in the works, and I was like, okay, it's in the works. You know what I mean? Everybody's in the works. So call me when it's time. You know. Then I was doing this like independent movie, and then he calls like, bro. You know, and I kind of brushed it off like, well, I'm already doing this other thing, man. And so then when he hits me back again, he's like, Sandler's yelling at us.
Adam Sandler?
Yeah, he's yelling at us. You know, you got to come. So we worked it out. Then I flew to Montreal, and you know,
Was this recent?
this was when before Murder Mystery. You know, so it's like then I get there, and then like you know I meet him.
Adam?
Yeah, to do a run through because it was an action scene. You know, like we had this long walk and talk. You know, and it was great. You know, like the scene, and then we like foil a robbery and all this kind of stuff. So he wanted to do the blocking and all this stuff. So then that night, actually before I met him, okay, so we do a blocking, and then Kyle goes, I gotta go to dinner. All right, I gotta go to this cast dinner. And I was like, well, I ain't gonna be it. You know, that's the look on my face. I was like, damn, I'm just really a glorified extra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then an hour later, he calls me, get over here. You know, they're asking for you, you know? So I get to the dinner, right? And it's one of those things I walk in the room and then the whole place looks, you know what I'm saying? You know, and then it was like the stars were here and then like the other people over here. And then I make a joke, I'm like, I'm at the riff-raff table? You know? And then, of course, all these guys like,
I fucking love that.
You know what I mean? So then he says, Jimmy, which is the character, my character, you know? He's like, oh, Jimmy's here, you know what I mean? And then then I look at this table. Here's Jennifer Aniston. Here's the dude from, the dude that played Gaston in the new Beauty and the Beast movie.
Oh, he's a great actor.
Right? And I go, oh shit, Beauty and the Beast. And then Adam Sandler goes, yeah, man, it's like your bit.
Oh, yeah.
So then that made me feel, oh, this is watching my material. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
That's
shit.
fucking awesome.
So, you know, he's like,
That's a good bit that's a good bit that he saw.
Yeah, right? So he's like, yeah, you know,
Have you heard
and
his Disney
Jennifer
bit?
Aniston gives me a hug, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, my
did
God.
you soak it in?
I was
Yeah,
like,
how was
I'm
that?
light-skinned Chandler right now. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, shit, you smell good.
Yeah,
She smell good. That's what I'm gonna ask. She smell good.
Fine.
She smell good.
Yeah, she's so great. She's very
fine.
nice. And then we had this great dinner, and that was that. You know what I mean? And then we just filmed the scenes, and it was really great to you know, be doing this scene with him. And then what happened was they cut this scene. They cut because they wanted to change the beginning of the movie. So they cut that. So they were like, we need to redo it. So I get a call, Eric, we need to redo this scene, and then they're adding me to another scene. You know, that was the opening of the movie.
Yeah,
You know, so then it was like, I'm the first thing you hear and see in the movie, and then we had they added this dinner scene. Might as well just keep me, you know, and so then that you know, that was that. You know, so it's great. Funny story though. I say to you know, Sandler, I go, yeah, my special just came out, man. You know, he's like, I'm gonna watch it. He's in his phone like, what's the name of the thing? You know. So then later now that was in Montreal. So now we're in LA. You know, doing like it's downtown New York.
Was this your special on Showtime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now he's telling a story about how he knows the dude from Game of Thrones, the little dude.
Oh yeah.
Peter Dixon.
Yeah.
And he's saying how, yeah, you know, I actually have never watched Game of Thrones, but you know, I was making out like. Then I said, you never watched my special. He said he watched it, right?
Yeah,
I was like, oh man, did you do that to me?
Yeah.
You didn't watch my special. Then he does that Adam Sandler thing. He was like, I watched it.
That's fucking hilarious.
You know what I mean? And it was like we had this like I kept getting on him like, I know you didn't watch it. Just admit it.
Shit.
You know, like, so,
I love it.
but he's a fun dude. And then like recently I went to like a I just had a meeting. I was trying to pitch something with them, you know, whatever. And then like
was it the Happy Sandler? Or
Happy
Madison, yeah.
You know, and then his main guy was like, oh yeah, you know, they're writing Another Mystery 2 right now, you know, or whatever they're writing, you know, whatever kind of sequel they're gonna do. And I'm like, Jimmy better be in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We need Jimmy.
And then he like took a picture of me and sent it to the writer, like, don't forget this guy.
There it is. Have you been touring at all?
No. I actually just went for the first time I went to Arizona last weekend.
Where?
Shouts out.
To Phoenix.
How about stand-up? That was your first?
It was my first weekend, and it was like, I was like nervous, but I was more nervous about my set than I was about getting COVID.
For sure.
Because at this point, I'm like, I've taken 4 tests. I feel like I'm doing the right things. I mean, who knows? I could still get it for whatever reason, right? But at this point right now, I'm not living in fear the way they want me to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I went, you know, got on the plane. I was nervous about that. I hate wearing a mask, so now I'm in this mask. I said, how can I deal with this? I'm glad it was Phoenix. It was just an hour flight.
Yeah.
Like, this is a tester flight. We need to see how this is, you know. Got to the hotel, everything was cool. I went inside a restaurant, and I was like, oh, shit.
You feel weird, right?
You know what I mean?
Get in there, you're
I was like,
this ain't
and then,
right.
then it just made me mad. I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
In LA, yeah.
What are we doing? Why are we doing it like
Yeah.
Bro, we went to Florida, and then Texas has a no mask mandate.
Oh, Texas, and the governor just said yesterday, like, yeah, we're 100% open.
And then Newsom here, I looked around the news, he's like, I'd prefer if you guys wore 2 masks. I'm like, God damn.
It is weird.
I was like, how are we living in the same place? I just don't get it.
Because they're all getting the same info.
And here's the thing too, right? But here's the thing too, we're not gonna know if the governor of Texas, he's either gonna be proven right or proven wrong. Okay? So if he's proven right, the numbers keep dropping. Everything's fine in Texas. You know, people still get it, but they're like,
will be. I guarantee that.
You know, but it still drops. Then we're really gonna be mad here.
Listen, man, it's 2021. We all have stresses in life, especially right now. I'm obsessed with them. I have a pair in TFAT, real president in there, then Biden just thinks like, or is there something .com/TFATK by raycon.com/TFATK. Is it about health, or is there something else at play?
Yeah.
And then when Trump was in office, they're like, oh, he's throwing fake news. We need a real president in there. And then Biden gets things like, oh, is the news clear for you?
Yeah, I
like,
know.
Are things clear now?
Yeah. I think that
the politician's going to politic. Like, that's what they do now.
I think conservative radio and television, they love, if they're in a better position when Biden is the president than Trump. Because now they're on the attack 24/7. As opposed to like
defending nonstop.
Yeah, as opposed to having to like gloss over some shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, the Capitol riot wasn't that bad.
Some outrageous shit. And no, you see him go down this. Yeah, now you guys see him go down this double diamond mogul trying to figure out, like, how are we going to defend that this riot wasn't that bad?
Yeah. Now they're just like, Biden sucks.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Worst president in history. Now they just like, ooh, they're in there. Like, Sean Kennedy is in it.
He's fired up.
He loves it.
Yeah.
Yes,
they have
finally.
energy now. Yeah.
I don't have to fucking defend this idiot. Because he knows, like, he can't believe the things that he was saying.
Well, but now CNN's on the defensive with Cuomo. The best to see them struggle through the Cuomo.
Now they know how it is.
3 sexual assault charges. Yeah.
Cuomo?
Yeah, in New York. So he's like trying to like battle that. It's such a beast. He's like, I'm old. That's my grandpa used to greet me like that. You're like, all right, man. All right, man.
My grandma used to greet
That's
me
what he
like
said.
that.
He's like, my grandfather used to grab my face like that.
You know, it's funny you say that.
In the whole room, everyone was like,
Yeah, some things you shouldn't.
You know what
say.
though? In his defense, there is some truth to that.
your grandma used to grab you?
There is some truth to how we used to be.
He's Italian.
In the same way that we used to be more, casually racist. We used to be more. What I'm saying is like,
drop the F word.
Yeah, we used
for
to like
gays. Like it was very casual.
Yeah, man,
It's a different time,
different era. Like even my mom. Like you look at your parents. Your parents have very racist ideas.
My grandma was so racist.
My mom would say some shit like, okay, when my mom was when the dementia wasn't, one of my closest friends is dead. He's a brother to me, and he was sick, and I said to my mom, it's not good. My mom goes, hope it's not AIDS. Listen.
I don't want to be on camera left.
Listen,
But also,
that's that era. That's that era. You get that era. And you go, oh, AIDS. Here come that AIDS. Here come that AIDS. So, it's like, so I'm not saying it's okay, but the thing is,
ignorance is bliss to like back then, like they didn't know.
It's like Bill was new. Back to Bill Burr's bit, the Donald Sterling.
Yeah, Donald Sterling.
Donald
Clippers on it.
Yeah, the Clippers on it. He goes, what did you expect?
This old billionaire, black girl hanging out with all these black guys. What'd you think he was saying? Yeah, I don't want you hanging out with these guys with giant dicks all the time.
I know, man. It's a weird. But so now again, the sensitivity or the things are being weaponized again. And we just have to try to weather the storm. I wish it wasn't so.
You got to tiptoe it.
Wasn't so politicized and stuff like that. But
social media heightens everything too.
Again, not defending Cuomo in any way, but I understand. You know what I mean? Like what I'm saying is like you go, okay, well, what's happening here? So he did what to you? Like what I don't like is the association that it's all catch-all. So, some guy from an old era, sees you and he just goes, look at you, pinches your cheek or whatever the thing, or however the hello is. If you're trying to say that's the same as he put drugs in your drink and then you woke up naked next to him.
Yeah, different.
Is there no distinction between what, so sexual assault's now the catch-all for everything?
Yeah.
Catch-all for everything, and
it's like a blanket.
If it's a blanket,
it's different, man.
Then it's like if you believe that, then I go, okay, because like listen, messing with people's boundaries and in their space, you don't know. But what I'm saying is, give somebody the opportunity. What we need to do moving forward is like we have to make it okay for people to say like you gotta go, hey, can I hug you? I'm a hugger. That's what I do now. I'm a hugger. Because maybe somebody's not a hugger. You might hug somebody, you might feel uncomfortable. Like, I didn't like what he did.
And then go to HR.
You go, oh shit. But what I'm saying is, do we have to assume everyone's a creep? Can it be like, I didn't really feel comfortable with that? Can I get the opportunity to go like, oh man, my bad?
Well, I was listening to Breakfast Club and they were talking about like the works, because they were saying, Cuomo in the workspace and they work for him and they're not allowed to do that. So they were having a discussion on it, and all three of them envy Charlamagne and Angela Yee. They're like, there should be no flirting in the workspace. And in my head, I'm like, that's not right. You're assuming all those guys are creeps, and you're assuming all the girls don't want to be hit on. Well, and also, a lot of relationships start in the work.
I was just about to say, Geraldo said that. He was like, talking about news people that have gotten together, people that work together. Like, at what point... I get it. So because of this, you have to have a catch-all. So because of a few creeps, you have to go, okay, so none of this should happen at work. And I totally get that, though. Like, there is a part of it that you go, like you're on a movie set, and maybe you and the makeup lady are vibing.
Okay, I'm with you.
All right? But during the shooting, it's probably best that you keep it professional.
For sure.
Okay. On that wrap day, that's when you like, free on Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, it's more nuanced than just being like, hey, none of this ever.
That's also not realistic.
It's not realistic, but the problem is, it's like, unfortunately, the few creeps that take shit too far
ruined it. And
even ourselves, we can look at ourselves. Every man, I don't care. You can pretend like you're not whatever you want. Everybody can lie to themselves. Every dude, if you look at it on paper, has crossed the line. Okay? Because it depends on the circumstances and the situation and the person you're talking to. One line that might work on one chick is completely inappropriate to another one. Weird as fuck to another. And it also depends on, like, unfortunately, the difference between annoyance and harassment and acceptance is attraction. So it just so you as a guy, I just think that we need to try to act more appropriately, more professional in professional settings. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's like because then because everybody jumps to extremes. So when we're trying to say, like, I think it should be okay to date somebody that you work with, the extreme people will be like, yo, so you think you can grab her ass at work and
Yeah,
say,
it's like,
no,
no,
motherfucker,
yeah,
I'm not
no,
saying that,
no,
bitch.
no.
You know, they stop putting words in my mouth.
no.
That's just me off.
Hit him with the bitch.
Yeah, because they so fucking bitch, nigga. By the way,
Yeah.
when I say bitch, I mean motherfucker.
No.
When you say bitch, you say
And
bitch.
I
like it. That's just one of my favorite words, bitch.
Too.
You know, and I don't mean it the way people. You need to stop calling people bitches. I don't, you know.
But it's like you just say bitch.
That's my
Kevin
word.
Hart said different level. Yeah.
You know, so I just think that when you so how do you do that? So it is case by case. Look, when I probably even said this on this podcast already, but I remember we had this for Don up here, you know, because then it was like Me Too era was heavy. All right, so they would always have a lawyer come in, a consultant before you start shooting, and they sit everybody down and they talk about sexual harassment on the job. But one of the things the lady said, it was like, listen, this is not something that you can necessarily like put on paper, but you know it when you see it. All right? It's just like pornography. You know, it's like if you have some art book with like, you know, it's like statues of babies and there's like baby booties and stuff like that. Someone easily could be like, oh my God, what is this, child pornography? But you look at it and you would be like, no, this is art. It's clearly art. But like, who defines that? So like you know when you see it, and harassment is the same kind of thing. It's like all I said to her was hello. Yeah, but did you go? Hello. Yeah. Look at his face. Look at that lip.
I got a straight HR.
I see that lip. That's what I'm saying. Is why is your lip like? You okay? You like what?
I got that bunny love lip.
I gotta be like that in court all the time. What?
I'm like this all the time.
So I mean, there is a way of like, you know, there's a way of saying things. You know, it's like okay, it's like I remember I was at this restaurant. What is that place?
Where at?
Jones on Third.
Jones on Third. Hell yeah.
Jones. Okay, do you know Jones? All right, so you know in Jones you sitting at tables like this. Right? And then there's like people could be right here. So behind me, two girls sitting here. Right, me and my buddy, we just talking. A dude comes over and starts flirting with these girls.
Doesn't know.
Okay. Yeah, you don't know him, and it just does. Okay. All right, but my thing is like I'm sitting like this, and the girl's sitting like this, so we're literally like this close to each other. Okay. When the guy leaves, I lean over and go, that didn't go well, huh? And she was like, oh my God, this sure didn't. And we start yip yapping. All right. She's one of these hippie chicks. Hippie, she got tank top on.
Dirty Air Force.
Yeah, you know what I mean? In the middle of the conversation, her titty pops out.
Dude, this day and age, I would say shit. I would just listen.
What did you do? Titty pop out, right? Now I'm in a dilemma. How you react? Yeah. Now I'm in a dilemma.
Okay, what you do?
Do I tell her?
No, that's A.
This titty's out. Okay, but check this out. B, I don't tell her the titty's out. But then she looks down and sees the titties out and knows I've been looking at this titty the whole time.
Was it a big ass titty?
It was no, listen, I ain't going to detail.
Hippie titty. It was a hippie titty.
It was, but it was like, oh, the titty. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, maybe a little drool. But here's the titty, okay?
Right, the titty right.
So I made the choice.
Hungry.
He's not licking his lip. The lip came.
He's off.
Did you already order? Yeah. You need to see the menu.
So now I'm in this dilemma, but I made the choice. I need to tell her about this tit.
Yeah.
She need to know about this titty. You told her. But how I tell her about the titty is where the harassment comes.
Gotta make the joke.
Because I can't be like this. That lip. Guess what? Your titty out. And later I could say, what? I was telling her her breast was out and I needed, you know, no. So I just went, but
you did the little motion.
yeah, I went to get the titty.
Oh, I done did something.
She went like this. But by the way, she knew that titty was out. Come on.
Yo, you know it.
You know your titty is out. That hair conditioner.
I was about to say, Joe's
hitting that nipple. You didn't know that titty was out. All right. But anyway, the point is, I felt like
Batman titty.
I knew in that situation. I said, I'm not even listening to her. She's like, because I'm thinking, damn, it's titty, and I need to let her know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just like looking at her like this.
You're
Like,
sweating
how
bullets,
do I
dog.
get this titty into the conversation without being a creep?
Yeah.
And you know, and so what I'm saying is like, it's one of these things that I say, you know it when you see it. You can feel it. You know when a dude is like, it's like after shows, man, you got these chicks and they're with their boyfriends, and the chick is drunk, and she's like, oh, I like you.
Yeah.
And then you gotta look at the boyfriend like, get your shit.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
awkward
Get
shit
your-
ever.
Get your
The
shit.
worst. Yeah.
Because I'm like, fuck her tonight. Just kidding. Just kidding, Rachel. That's my fiance.
Like, what the fuck? The views expressed by arrogantness and show.
That's the fiance camera, right?
I know, baby. So, but what I'm saying is, like, sometimes you have these moments. Okay, so you just got to go like, hey, then how do you deal with it? And then you have other situations where the couple is like, the guy's like, yeah, she like you, Brendan. She been watching. He wants you to watch you for a long time. Meaning like he wants you to fuck his girl, and then you want to sit in a chair and watch. Okay, so what I'm saying is like, how you handle that? You're just like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, how far is the chair from the bed?
You in that suite?
You
got a suite or you got regular room?
Is it like
that sweet?
You got Airbnb or
like those sheet banisters? So I mean, again, interactions between human beings are way more complex and nuanced, which is my favorite word. I use it all the time.
Nuanced.
It's way more than just a headline on Twitter.
Sure.
It's way more than that, because people still take your words, they'll parse them and make them what they want,
no matter what
they want. But I say to you, okay, so even if you're doing it like that, then you can see how there's all different types of perceptions. You know what I've been saying on my podcast? Look, I don't mind if people are sensitive. All right, I'm sensitive. I'm a sensitive guy.
Okay.
That's why when something happens and somebody says something about me, I get sensitive. So I'm no longer being like, oh, this generation is sensitive. No, I don't mind you being sensitive. But what I mind is when you weaponize it. When you take your sensitivity to the internet based off your perception and you weaponize against someone. Without detail.
Give me an example.
Well, an example would be like, Taylor Swift. Okay, so she's now upset that a show made a joke about her.
Oh yeah,
What show?
Netflix show.
Yeah, this Netflix they made. So she
I've never heard of
tweeted.
it.
So she tweeted out. Yeah, she tweeted out like, this is lazy writing, and she made herself the victim in this situation. And it's like, damn. So she took her 100 million followers, and she has an army of people.
She has a fucking
mad.
Oh.
And it's like,
Swift Nation.
if anybody can take a joke, it should be the people in the public eye like that.
Yeah.
Like it should be easy to
That
be
should
like,
be light work.
And
Was
the
that a bad joke?
And the joke was like the two characters are talking. And the lady said, she says, "Oh, you go through more men than Taylor Swift."
She ain't lying.
The thing is,
Something about that.
my point is like, so then to like weaponize her sensitivity on her Twitter, I think it's irresponsible. I think it's irresponsible. I think it's unfair. Or even like it just happened to me in Phoenix. I have jokes. I'm working out these jokes, man. I haven't been on stage in a year. I'm working out. I'm not making excuses, because even if you say something that somebody gets hurt, it's like, okay. But I feel like in my mind, I'm making a good point, and I feel like I'm coming from a good place. I don't have ill intent, And like I always
None of us
say,
do when we go up there.
But like I say, there's gonna be a butt of every joke, and sometimes that butt gets slapped, and people don't like that. Some people do, some people don't, and I get it.
So you made somebody upset?
Some tweets about it,
What was the topic?
Just about transgender. It doesn't even matter. They just, I was really upset and hurt, and it was hurtful and blah, blah, blah. And my initial reaction, I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't hear what I said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's that person's perception. But again, no details. Now, people that weren't even there, what an asshole. I can't believe this.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Meanwhile, that was one person. One fucking
That's all
person.
it takes. But what I'm saying is, you're valid to have your feelings. I'm okay with you being upset. And I can even be like, you know what? There's 2 times you should apologize. All right? When you do wrong, and if someone's hurt by something you did, whether you meant to do wrong or not. So I can sit here now and be like, she was hurt by what I said. And I can be like, I apologize that you were hurt by that. Okay? I'm sorry that you were hurt by that. I'm working this out. And now I see a different perspective, actually. Because afterwards, I was like mad, and I'm looking at the jokes, and I'm thinking about them. And then I'm like, well, maybe somebody could see it this way, so I need to be more clear in how I do this joke. That's all I did. So I'm working it out. But damn, for you to make it now that you characterizing me as a monster because of your sensitivity and your perception,
Anti-transgender.
that's what cancel culture is.
Correct.
Yeah, to make someone a monster.
Yeah. So cancel culture becomes this thing where, like, without details, without firsthand knowledge, without, you're gonna take that sensitivity and you're gonna weaponize it. And I just find that is, I think
It doesn't move us forward.
It doesn't move us forward. I mean, conversations are what moves us forward. I mean, and it's like all I say to people that come to comedy shows and you're talking about comedians, let's assume good intentions first before anything. Yes, they're assholes. Yes, there are people clearly trying to be mean. But let's assume that I don't have ill intent. I'm just working this out. Yeah. Especially in my mind, because I'm saying, like, the whole point of it is to be like, we should normalize this. It shouldn't matter. We shouldn't care about this as much as we do. Now, within that, I'm going to have jokes, because I go after both sides. I don't care. Like, my favorite compliment is when a Republican conservative person comes up to me after my show and goes, yeah, thanks for talking about both sides. You know? And they're not saying to me, why do you jokes about conservatives? They're going, thanks for joking about them too.
Yeah, you say everybody get it.
Everybody get it. And my thing is like, don't you want to feel normal? Don't you want to be like, you're at a show and no matter who you are, you're gonna get it?
Yeah, you're good.
You're a part of what I feel like, because I don't look. I hate when people assume my intent.
Yeah, don't assume that.
Don't assume my intent.
Don't assume.
I'm telling you what my intent is. Now, if I didn't achieve that, because you know what the real issue is? We're not as brilliant as we think we are. People aren't as articulate as they think they are. Even right now, people are misconstruing what we're saying, or they're taking what they want from it. It's actually harder than you think to articulate your point. Yep. And that's why when you're a comic, you have to work on your act many, many times.
That's why we go up so much.
And it's like, in this situation, that wasn't a special that is for public consumption.
You haven't been on stage in a year.
Can we just have this moment in this crowd?
Just right here.
Can we have this moment? Maybe hit me up privately, like, I didn't like what you said. Yeah. Then I could be like, well, fuck you, and then we go back and forth, and I go, you know what, you're right. Yeah, exactly. Because my mistake was I tweeted back, and then other people jumped in. And then other people jumped in, and this guy's like, what an asshole for responding like this. And I said, you weren't even there.
You weren't even there.
You know, and then he goes, well, you just keep talking, everything you write. You know what I said back to him? I was like, you know what, you're right.
I said, you killed them off like
I said, you're right. Yeah. Because I'm just upset, man. You know, I'm upset by this unfair characterization. That's what I wrote back. Didn't hear from that motherfucker again.
Yeah. Put him on mute.
You know?
He was
I muted everybody anyway, because I was like, oh, I made a mistake of even saying anything. Because, you know, if, like, you tell me, man, I went to this place and everybody's getting on me, whatever, and then, like, we go, what? They getting on you? Now, all I can believe is you. I can be, but then I come to find out, you know, you were being a dick.
Well, now you have detail.
Cancel culture is lack of details, you know? And even these details that they think they get, they think, well, I got details. They said in the story, where's the proof? Yeah. You know, can we see it all first and then go, all right, now let's make a comment on
all of it.
Let's make a comment on this now. But we don't wait for that, and then it runs amok. Cancel culture runs
out of hand, and there's no putting the toothpaste back in the bottle. Right. Once it's out, then it's just like...
And like I say again, I have no problem anymore. I don't mind that this generation is sensitive. What I realize is we're all sensitive.
Most entertainers are.
And athletes are. And you know what else I realized too? Cancel culture or sensitivity, it's always been here. They just now have an outlet.
They have a platform.
They have a platform. Yeah. Before they had to write letters.
Yeah.
You know,
the fan mail.
The fan mail.
Eddie Murphy would talk about it. He said anytime he did a show, he'd read about it in the newspaper or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's how it would be. So now people have their own voice. So I guess I realized, like, George Carlin would have got it. He would have been God, okay? Just because he had these opinions, you know what I mean? And there would be people that would be like, you are so insensitive, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So you just go. So I get it. So I just feel like it's unfair, you know what I mean? And at the same time, fair on the other side. Look, Taylor Swift is upset. You know, I get it. She's like, damn, my business always got to be the butt of every fucking joke. You know what I mean? Do I have, you know, so she was mad about that. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm with you. Nobody wants to be the butt of a joke. See, the butt of a joke got slapped. That's the ass. Okay? She got slapped. But she clapped back in a way that's like, damn, you don't take, like, that's a weapon.
Major weapon.
It's a major weapon. Yeah. It's like that time.
She's abusing her power.
It's like that time Bieber, you know, put somebody's phone number like or email or something like. It's like if Bieber goes, look what this person said about me. 189 million people now, or whatever the true interaction is. Or like fuck you. Well, how dare you? Leave him alone. Boom, boom, boom. that's a danger. That's a dangerous weapon, you know. But we don't even realize it until you're like, because even I would do that. You know, when somebody says some shit about you and you go, ha, look at this troll, boom, and then your fans are like, troll, stupid troll, boom, boom, boom,
Light
boom,
that
boom.
motherfucker up.
They light them up. You know what I mean? And that's like, you know, it's like you don't even realize the power that wields. And someone like Taylor Swift, she's got a national platform. She's got so many followers. She's got documentaries.
Worldwide, man.
She's worldwide. So if she tweets something, the world looks.
She knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She's not.
Like, what's her
she's a
intent?
smart girl.
You know, she might have been at home like, oh, fuck them. I'm watch.
Well, she's probably like, I'm sick of this.
Yeah, what's her intention?
Watch this.
And again, by the way, more power to you. But like, you know, don't be like lazy writing. You know, you have songs that are like, we will never, ever, ever. Like, you ain't Shakespeare either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but again, I get it. You know, and I'm saying it's like we just don't realize the extent of how far we could go with this. And
It's like
someone
you,
like
you
that,
get the fact that the person has that emotion, like that initial feeling. It's
yeah, because I want that initial feeling.
Anytime someone talks shit to us, like online, you feel it.
You
You're
feel it.
You're like, man,
Yeah.
oh, fuck.
So what I'm saying is Taylor felt it. But it would be
Felt
like
it.
you guys coming on your podcast, because I do this on my podcast sometimes.
Yeah.
This guy was talking about like his kid, and this is the third time I'm talking about it. This is how mad I am about it. You know what I mean? So I'm actually doing what I said, you know, people shouldn't do. I'm doing it right now.
You got to unleash
I'm about to unleash on this, but I
I'm the fighting kid back.
I ain't calling the motherfucker out. I'm just saying. But
I don't
like,
hear about
You're
that.
not like at Jared 999
But this is what an example of the kind of thing. So the guy, like, he writes a comment and calls my girl stupid.
Wow.
You know? And so I said, you know, I was like, yo, dude, do you think this is okay? Like, this is not okay. You know, this is somebody I care about.
On Instagram, you're like, you think it's cool?
On YouTube. I was like, you think this is okay, dude?
Oh, you responded back to YouTube comment.
Yeah, I responded to it. Shit.
Brother.
I'm petty as a mother.
I stopped. You ain't gonna win that battle.
I know. But then the guy writes me back like, well, you know, Mike, I was watching your game. I'm a fan, and my son sent you a super chat, which is like tip, you know? And then he asked to play with you, and then you said, why would I play with you? You know? Now, out of context, it's like, you know, I'm like, yeah, when I'm playing, I'm like, you know how many people hit me up to play?
Like what?
Like, I'm talking about, it's just nonstop messages. Like, here's my Activision ID. I want to play Call of Duty with you. Boom, boom, boom. I can't play with everybody. I don't know you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Why would I play with you? I don't know you.
Don't know you.
I don't know this is a little kid.
What was his tag?
I don't even know. Don't matter.
You don't have to.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying I don't know it's a little kid. But if you watch me all the time, you get my sentiment. My sentiment is like, come on, y'all. I can't play with all y'all. Now, if the kid was upset, if it came across rude to this individual, I get it. I'm sorry. All right? I didn't mean for you to be hurt by my dismissal. But also, $2, you think $2 means you own my time now?
You think you can buy me for $2?
Yeah. So you got $2 like, oh,
Dad's like,
yeah.
The dad's like, yeah, bitch.
Yeah, he does think that.
We sent you $2.
So what I'm saying is like, so this guy, again, people take their perception, their perspective, and then they attack you.
Were you guys cool though?
I haven't heard from him since because I know he's seen me talk about this now, and he must be. Because I let him know. It's like, yeah, I think your bad parenting is really what's going on right now.
Son is probably like,
letting your kid feel like, oh yeah, you can buy whatever you want.
Yeah. You want us to buy Eric? You can buy Eric.
Send that motherfucker $2. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is like, you know, again, I get sensitive. Taylor Swift was sensitive. She was mad. She was probably looking at the show. She was probably like, oh, let me watch this new show. Oh, girl power. It's girls, you know. It's National Women's Month. You know, and she's like going for it. And then she sees this joke. You know? Yes. She's in her palatial palace and her like California king. You know what I mean? There's 2 Asian boys fanning her. You know what I'm saying? 2 Asian boys just fanning her like this. You know what I mean? There's like, you know, somebody's doing her nails, whatever. And she's just sitting there with all her money and everything. And she's like, fuck them.
Yep. Unleash the fury.
Fuck them. You know what?
Hit the nuke.
And she's a celebrity.
You know what I mean?
She has the most engagement interaction with her fans.
Yeah, and she's super.
She's
you know what I mean?
great.
So she's great that way. You know, like you have, and that's what's great about. See, this is how the internet. That's why I hope they never get rid of it. It's because the positive is of it. You could be a fan of Taylor Swift, and there could be a chance that she goes, "Hey,
what's up?
Yep, what's up?"
Yeah.
And you're like,
That's
"Ooh,
cool. Yeah.
get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah.
I mean, even on a small level, whatever it is. I remember meeting Bieber, you know, at the Laugh Factory, and he took a picture of us. You know, he took a picture and he put it on his Instagram. You know, and I said, "Well, can you tag me, man?" He was like, "All right." And I said, "What let me do for you?" And then I was doing his phone, but he was so cautious with his phone. I remember He was gonna grab it. He was like,
Get it.
because I was going, let me see these dick pics. You know, I don't know what he thought. I don't know what he thought I was gonna look at. But then like he, you know, and then he tagged me, and then my phone blew up for 6 months.
Yeah.
Like I had to turn the notifications off because it was like.
Damn. Oh shit.
My phone did. Zebra's power. You know, and then I was getting messages too. I was getting messages from like young girls.
Like, can you tell Justin?
Yeah, can you just tell Justin that? What? By the way, young boys too. Boys were like, oh yes, I need him. You know, I was like, wow,
Nuts.
Like I mean, it's like
You know the power he is.
it's
Well, it was like last night, me and my girl watching that Billie Eilish doc. Have you seen that?
Is that good?
Have you seen it, Kat?
Yeah, I watched
It's
it.
fucking good.
It's good.
You're a huge fan of her after you see
a lot
it.
of them
I
are.
love the way.
Yeah, it was so fucking good.
Ariana
It's like,
Grande one of